The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians. Apply today at standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93X.
We need bullies, man. You think kids were nice to Mark Zuckerberg in high school? Shit, he invented Facebook after somebody smacked him in the face with a book. He invented Facebook just to get friends. We need bullies. Pressure makes diamonds, not hugs. I'm telling you, we need bullies. That's why there's so many fat kids in school right now. Because there's nobody to take their lunch money. You know what they buy with all that money? Seconds.
There are two kinds of people in this world. There are bullies and there are nerds.
Hey, what happened to your belt?
Some bullies beat me up and took it.
Son, there's only one thing punks like that understand. Squealing. You've got to squeal to every teacher and every grown-up you can find.
They had horrible days at school. They were stuffed in lockers, left there overnight reading whatever they could find. Then in the mornings, janitor let them out, and then they got the kicked out of them for wearing the same stuff 2 days in a row.
Now for me. What a hell of a deal we got going here. It's the Wednesday edition of the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. Good morning, folks. Are we celebrating bullies today?
No, it's a National Stop Bullying Day.
Stop it with the bullying.
And I would make that my mission, but I'm too fearful.
Of the bullies.
I'm afraid of the retaliation.
So we are to stop it. We're not to encourage it. Oh, I got you. Chris Rock got a new record out or something? I don't recognize those jokes.
No, it's an old one. I don't think he'd make a slap-in-the-face joke these days.
That's true.
That's a good point.
I didn't even consider that.
Yeah. Outside of now he's recapping what happened to him.
He created Facebook after someone hit him in the face with a book. That dude is one of a kind. All right, here we go. Like I said, the Wednesday program. It's our job to try and cheer up dozens and dozens of disappointed Twins fans this morning.
God, that was an ass kicking.
I'm a big Twins fan. You guys know that. By God, I am. And I've been trying to show my solidarity with my favorite ball club this morning. I'm trying to better understand how they feel, or better understand how they felt yesterday. So I've asked Josh to surprise punch me in the nuts every half hour for the next 3 hours.
This is something I wasn't comfortable with, but he promised me it would make him feel better.
And you do anything for him.
I would.
Make me feel closer to my ball club and better understand what they felt yesterday. But it ain't over.
No, it's still not over. Don't give up yet.
You can come back from a nut punch.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but it's been done.
Oh, I've seen plenty of videos on that. Absolutely. Just this year in Major League Baseball, it seems like we've seen quite a few nuts getting taken out by errant balls. And you're right. They rose to the occasion afterwards.
They did. Hell no, it ain't over.
You ice the marbles and you go on with your day.
Oh, wow. But that was a hell of a deal yesterday. But they got to get after it tonight.
We'll play a little montage later of some of the reaction after the game yesterday. And fans were optimistic. They weren't, at least the ones they interviewed. Nobody seemed too pissy or going to give away their season tickets next year or anything like that.
That's good.
Yeah, it seems like they've got the backing of the fans.
They're not screaming to fire Rocco.
Not that I've seen yet.
That would have been great, though, if they put one Twins fan. Yeah, we're screwed.
He's burning his Twins jersey.
There's a tear rolling down his eye.
Never should have got rid of the Metrodome.
Do any of you still watch the television news? I still watch the television.
No.
You don't?
No. Oh, heck no.
None of you watch the television.
I mean, outside of clips on the internet.
Yeah, sure.
Just grabbing audio and stuff
Oh, really?
like that.
I still watch the television news, so I guess none of you can play along. I was going to ask you if you noticed. So I'll ask our listeners, of course. It's not just the five of us. God, how sad would it be if it was just the five of us? I'll ask our listeners, for those of you who still watch the television news, have you noticed that they're being a little overly cheesy about this Twins playoff
Oh,
run?
absolutely.
Oh, so you've noticed that.
Well, yeah, like I said, I'll watch the clips just kind of find the stories I want, and they really have.
What do you mean cheesy?
I'll explain. And you know what? I'm not trying to tell anybody how to do a television news show. Go ahead, do whatever. But Josh knows what I'm talking about. So suddenly, out of nowhere, your weather guy is wearing head to toe Twin stuff for the to give you the, what's the word in the business, the
forecast.
The forecast. Thank you, Wapple. He's our weather guy over there, Wapple. He knows the.
I got it down.
Suddenly, this weather guy who's never said word one about the Twins, he's got a TC Bear T-shirt on, and he's just excited. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting older, but that kind of irks me.
No, I know what you're saying. Sometimes TC Bear will come out and help with the forecast or something like that. Yeah,
I mean, they're just so all in. It's just seems a little bandwagon-y to me. And fine, go ahead.
I wonder how it will be today.
Oh,
if they'll be all decked out still, or if they'll like ring it in a little.
No. They'll be all about it.
They'll be gung-ho until the bitter end. But, you know, they're covering the game, and then they get the fan reaction, and then they get Steve Lombardozzi from 1987. they get him on the phone to come. It's like, okay, come on already. You just, everyone call me. It's only the divisional series. Don't blow your wad. You know, let's say they do go all the way to the World Series. Hell, you got no one to talk to now.
You called Wapple the weatherman?
He is our weatherman.
He has done our weather before. Wapple, do you remember the weather report you did? I have a clip of it.
Oh, yeah, when I said it was sunny at night.
No, it's raining. You told us it was raining outside in the rain. But yeah, you did once say it's going to be sunny tonight or something like that.
Yeah, I was doing the weather, and I was like, tonight it's going to be sunny. Wait, what?
Yeah, it's just but there you go. I'll let it go at that point. I was just wondering if anybody had got a little tired of the brand new Twins hat that the lead anchor is wearing.
It's cheesy, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it is.
I'm glad they're buying into it.
I'm not trying to piss on anyone's parade. So there you go. For those of you who are a little pissy today, we'll try and get things going the other way for you.
There's always this, I guess, early evening, isn't there? It'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll try to get things going the other. We could talk about sex. We could talk about movies. We could brag about ourselves. Which route would you like to take? There's all kinds of options here.
I'm an expert on the first two.
Sex
really,
and movies.
A fountain of knowledge.
And especially sex movies, too. That's your specialty.
Oh, heck yeah. Whether I'm making them, watching them, making them while watching them.
Someone shouted out of the options I've given you: sex, movies, bragging about ourselves, or television. Go ahead.
How about television?
All right. No, I don't have that. Around here.
Do you have sex?
Do you have
Anybody
sex?
here have sex?
I've had sex before.
Yeah,
I'm not buying it.
I've had a couple sexes.
Television, the man said. All right. Here's what I have. Television plays a big role in dating in 2023. I didn't know that.
Neither did I.
Television, with all the shows and streaming options out there, television plays a... Okay, I think I know where they're going with that. If you're just fresh up and dating a new person, and okay, we went out to dinner, we went to the Twins game with all of our brand new Twins gear on. We did the...
You'll have your shows together.
You gotta have shows, right. See where they're going with that. Women's are talking here about the television shows that dodes watch that could raise a red flag.
You know what really raised a red flag for me? I watched the majority of these shows. Well, maybe I shouldn't say majority, but I have watched, at least a little bit here and there. And there was one I watched two religiously.
Right. Well, and then this should be proof that, okay, gentlemen in our listening audience who are single or just dating, just beginning to date a woman or a man or whoever the hell you're into, don't give up. If you also, dudes, if you love all these shows, don't think, oh, God, I've got no chance with a significant other, because obviously Cubby's the most dateable peckerhead in town.
Stop that.
Not even close either.
You are. Okay, so you watch all of these. Shouldn't raise a red flag for everybody who loves all these shows, because obviously, Cubby, you are a wonderful guy and a nice guy, respectful and
very kind of you to say.
polite, and TV shows that dudes watch and ladies say it could raise a red flag. God.
Oh, you're nuts.
No, I know. I told you to do it every half hour.
Was that a bad time?
No.
We didn't work on the timing.
Yeah, no.
We're 10 minutes into the show.
You told me at 5:20 every half hour.
It's supposed to be a surprise, and it's so far so good. Holy ball. That.
Surprise!
So here they are. Chicks, they're not all that pumped if you dudes are into the following shows. And then there's some reasoning as to why. First up, never saw it, Breaking Bad.
Oh, I watched it all.
I watched just up to the bathtub episode, and then after that,
rough.
That was a tough scene.
Yeah, this show's a little depressing for me.
Yeah.
All right, so chicks are concerned about men who idolized main character Walter White.
Yeah, he's definitely an anti-hero, and he starts out pretty good, but as the title says, he breaks bad by the end, and he becomes a pretty awful dude.
It's that's one of those shows that's universally loved, though.
Oh,
I mean, men and women. It's not like
it.
just a dude show or anything.
Another concern of women who, one of the reasons why they'd be concerned if their boyfriend loves Breaking Bad is that there are a lot of male viewers of the show who unreasonably vilified Walter's wife by the name of Skyler.
She was the voice of reason in the entire thing, and for some reason, dudes hated her because of it.
They wanted him to keep Breaking Bad.
I guess I didn't know anything about that. I barely paid attention to her.
She was trying to hold things together while he continued to break bad, and she was for some reason vilified because of it. And I think that caused concern for some women. We're like, what's this say about you?
Yeah.
A strong woman trying to try to be positive here while you're selling meth and killing people.
This text is a very good point.
Talk to me,
True
Cubby.
crime. It's the hottest thing right now, right?
Yep.
True crime.
People love true crime podcasts, TV shows, all that kind of stuff. And as we've said on the show before, true crime, their biggest audience is women. So someone says, women watch nothing but murder, but we're the ones to worry about?
Great point.
I wouldn't have considered that. There's some smart folks out there.
Checks. They're not so sure about the dudes who watch too much Mad Men. Says here,
I couldn't get into that show. I watched the first 2 episodes.
Same here.
Too fancy for me.
I agree.
Didn't do much for me.
Once again, I watched it all. I loved it.
Okay, so it says here, Mad Men has fans of all genders, but some women are wary of men who hate on the show's female characters or admire the character Don Draper for all the wrong reasons. All right.
Yeah, he wasn't the nicest dude.
Hey, Wapple. Rick and Morty.
Oh, I love it.
That's a show I've never watched.
Yeah,
and I know that's one of your favorites, right, Wapple?
Yeah, I love it because it's kind of like The Simpsons and Family Guy, where they parody a lot of shows. They parody, like they put their twist on movies and stuff like that.
I've tried it. I've just never been able to get into that show.
My favorite episode was when they parodied The Purge. Oh, God, that was so funny.
So women don't so much like their men to be wildly enthusiastic about Rick and Morty. They consider it a red flag.
Childish.
Here's the explanation. Some fans can be very over the top about Rick and Morty. Some people glorify Rick when the whole point is he's a psychopathic mess. I'd run away from any Rick and Morty fan, despite being a fan myself. You can't trust men who idolize shows like that.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I saw 2 minutes of Rick and Morty since the show began, and I laughed my balls off, but I never bothered going back.
I know exactly what episode
That's
you
just
watched,
that's just how I operate. I can hit a show real quick and even like it, but I forget all about it. There was something about somebody crapping their pants or something like that.
He pretty much had to destroy this Death Star, and he broke in, and every single time he'd like be the commander of the bad people, and he'd walk in, and he'd mess with some buttons, and then he'd be like, all right, I gotta go take a dump, and he'd walk out.
There was a character who a character had to take an emergency dump. I laughed, and then I never went. Another on the list of programs that gals aren't so crazy about their guys loving is Game of Thrones.
Watched it again?
Yeah, I watched it. I just watched it once, but sure do love that show.
It might be a red flag, gals say, since it includes so much violence, including sexual violence against women.
Those scenes were horrible.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, if they're watching those scenes like and they're not, it's not bothering them at all, then yeah, I'm gonna have a problem. But
I've never met someone that tuned in for the sexual violence scenes.
That's intense.
They were too much at times.
I remember this
all
being
the time, I should say.
I remember this being a subject of conversation a while back. There were a lot of people concerned about how passionate, I guess is the word, how passionate some people were about the Jeffrey Dahmer story.
That's another. I just watched the first episode.
I couldn't even get through the first episode.
Well, you know what? I guess I didn't finish either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right.
I almost finished it, but honestly, like the ending was incredibly boring.
Boring?
Yeah. Like I the last 2 episodes I barely remember because they were just on in the background because it just couldn't grab my attention like the rest of the episodes did.
I mean, so many of us are out of our friggin' minds. What I remember about this Jeffrey Dahmer story, which was dumped on one of these, where did you watch that show?
Netflix?
Okay, it was dumped onto Netflix, 6-8 months ago. Everybody went crazy for it. We were reading stories of people who were bothering the families of victims of Jeffrey Dahmer. People just didn't seem to realize, I mean, this was a real person who ruined hundreds of people's lives. People were showing up at Dahmer's relatives' houses and just all this bizarre stuff, running around town with his T-shirt on. I mean, it
was weird.
People are nuts. In this particular case, like I said, this is about women saying, if a man is too into these programs, it's a red flag. Now, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, it says here, many women said any guy who really loved this miniseries is a red flag, especially if he attempts to defend or justify his love for it.
I think it's funny, Ashley, that you said you were disappointed at the ending. It reminds me of a story. A friend of mine, he's a high school teacher, and when the movie Zodiac with Jake Gyllenhaal came out in 2007 or whenever that was, the kid, obviously based on a true or part of a true story, the student came in and they were talking about the movie, my friend and the student's like, it was good and all, but they never caught the bad guy at the end. The ending sucked. He had no idea it was a real dude. No clue whatsoever.
That's awesome.
It's like people who were, if somebody was disappointed at the ending of Titanic or surprised by the ending.
Zodiac is one of my favorite movies.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I love
Such a good movie.
I love it. It is long as a son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And at times it's a little slow, but I just love the acting is so terrific in that movie.
Oh, yeah. You got your Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Ruffalo, right?
Yeah, everyone's great.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
The dude who was in Revenge of the Nerds is in there. Anyway, I love
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah. Another show women are concerned about their men loving, BoJack Horseman. I don't even think I've ever...
It's one of my favorite shows of all time.
That's another one I only watched one. I love Will Arnett, and I know people really enjoy that show, but I couldn't get into it either.
I don't think I've ever even heard of this one.
I bet I can guess why. If they idolize the main character, BoJack, because isn't he actually a terrible, terrible person?
He is awful.
Or horse, whatever he is.
He's a horse. He's a terrible horse.
BoJack is a horse?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right, here's what they say, Smashley. The amount of dudes who think BoJack didn't deserve what happened to him because he was trying to get better is infuriating. You leave a string of damaged women behind you, but as long as you eventually try to get better, it's all good. I have no idea what's happening because I'd never even heard of this program.
He was a drunk, alcoholic, washed-up celebrity horse who was just awful to women.
Is this a cartoon, a talking horse?
Yeah, it's a cartoon, yeah.
Oh.
Animals live, it's based in a world in L.A. where animals and humans just all coexist and live together.
That sounds stupid.
It's surprisingly good. I did not think I would get as emotionally attached to a show about a talking horse as I did, but I sure as hell did.
Never see Mr. Red?
Family Guy.
All right.
Never miss an episode.
Yeah, come on. I
My
love
wife
Family Guy.
hates it. She hates that and South Park.
My girlfriend, too. She thinks Family Guy's stupid.
What? It's a classic. I love Family Guy.
Every time I watch it, I laugh my nuts off.
Same
it says
here.
here, some women say the show's gross ideals of masculinity and making women the punchline of too many jokes make it a bit iffy if a guy is way into it. Well, I'm not way into it.
Yeah,
I run into it once in a while, and I'll watch it and I'll laugh, but I've never said, hey, everybody sit down, it's time for Family Guy. But I get what they're saying about, I mean, come on. Meg is destroyed episode after episode. Peter isn't the nicest effing husband in the world. I get that.
No,
I get
he's not.
But at the same time, I mean, you have to remember it's a friggin' TV show.
It's a cartoon. It's a joke.
The whole point, yeah.
And they know what they're doing. They know.
The scene-
Quagmire isn't featured as much as he used to be. I don't remember the last time I saw Herbert the pervert.
Oh, really?
They dialed back, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
They did.
I even saw Seth MacFarlane talking about, well, Quagmire is, they're in a quagmire. They're not exactly sure what to do with his character
That's
anymore.
very interesting. I didn't know that. The scene that I always think of when, not South Park, when Family Guy comes up is, and I'm sure most of you will know what I'm talking about. I think it's Meg's 16th birthday party, and she's got her 3-4 dorky girlfriends over at the house.
Yes.
And Peter shows up as a stripper. And one of the hardest I've ever laughed while watching a television show, he comes in and does the sexy cop routine. You ladies are a little loud and obnoxious. I'm going to have to give you a ticket. He turns on a tune box. He's stripping now for his 16-year-old daughter and her friend. He puts his ass, he's wearing a G-string. He puts his ass so deep up against Meg's face that her eyeglasses are there and then suddenly they're gone.
I love that
I could
episode.
not stop laughing.
Remember
yes.
when Peter teaches Meg about dating by taking her out in the car, rolling up the windows and farting? Saying
Oh, that was
she's gonna
messed
have
up.
to learn how to embrace a man's fart.
She had to shave his back.
Yeah, I think I got the clip right here.
Dad, why are we just sitting here?
Just give me a minute, Meg.
What am I supposed to be learning about dating from? Oh my God, Dad, you farted! That is so nasty!
No, Meg, this is crucial, all right? The sexiest thing a woman can do for a man is learn to love his gas. Love the gas, Meg. Love it! No, Meg, no. This is why we're here. This is why we're here.
What a psycho.
It'll never not be funny to me that Mila Kunis does the voice of Meg, one of the most attractive women on earth, and then the character Meg just gets crapped on all the time.
They're pretty mean to Meg.
She thinks she's attractive, that Mila Kunis. She thinks she is.
I think so, too.
Here's the deal. Here's our finals here in this subject of red flag television shows. According to women, if your dude is too into these television shows, it's a red flag. We've got How, By Damn, I Met Your Mother. They say it's a harmless sitcom with the exception of Neil Patrick Harris's character Barney. Barney is a manipulative womanizer who once even admitted to human trafficking, and it's all played for laughs. Women say that any guy who puts Barney on a pedestal is definitely a no-go.
I love Barney, and I watched the heck out of How I Met Your Mother, and still at the end, after like learning about how he doesn't treat women the best, I was like, I want him still.
Well, some women are attracted to that.
Yeah, that's true. It's probably not a good sign.
Some women love the bad boy.
Well, and it's played by a famously gay guy. I mean, does that take some of the bite out of it a little bit, or what?
I'd say so.
I never watched it, never saw it, How I Met Your Mother, but I bet I would like it. And I bet I would like Neil Patrick Harris's character because that dude is incredibly funny.
He is so good.
Funny.
I love him.
He's a wildly talented guy. Finally, any man who just hates reality TV, women say is a flag and they need to go F themselves.
I do not like outside of like Cops or something like that. I'm not a fan of reality
And that's
TV.
fine, Cubby. Here's where they go with that. Women find it off-putting when a man actively despises any reality TV and looks down on people who enjoy it. I'm sure that's not you.
Yeah, like the dudes that hate on The Bachelor and stuff.
Ms. and Mrs., I've mentioned that before about the
That's fun.
WWE superstar, Ms. and Maurice. That I love that show. I'm trying to think of other reality shows that I enjoy. There's no...
I guess, are your, like, HGTV shows, are those reality shows, or?
I don't know. I guess
It's kind of a loose definition.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to qualify that.
Because couldn't Deadliest Catch be considered reality
Dude,
TV?
I love Deadliest Catch.
I tried that
I'm
once.
just not like shows like The Kardashian. You mentioned The Bachelor. That's kind of, the dating shows aren't really something that I get into.
The housewife shows are the ones that just drive me up the wall.
Mm-hmm. Like Basketball Wives and Housewives, all those.
Yeah,
they
the
have so
Real
many.
Housewives. It's just it's women drunk on wine yelling at each other, and I just can't handle it.
Yeah, but Dana, okay, I'll tell you this. Christ Almighty, I just remembered something. I got a wife.
What?
Yep,
Yeah,
yep, you
it's
do.
weird that you just remembered. I mean, you really haven't been married that long.
You wouldn't know you wouldn't know how I was behaving last weekend, but I have a wife. It happened 3 weeks ago, and I'll tell you this much, Dana. My wife, I can't believe I'm saying this. I've never said anything like this. Well, not since 1998, 99, right, Josh?
That's right.
She likes to watch all those reality shows, and so I walk past the television a lot, and it's on. And yes, it's drunk women throwing wine bottles at each other, but some of them are pretty hot. And sometimes the clothes come off.
Oh my word!
Oh, right in the balls. I said punching in the balls.
I know, and you also said every half hour.
It's like only 10 minutes ago you
I
hit me
screwed
in the
this
balls.
up. You got to have somebody else do it.
Women say you don't have to watch or like reality television, but don't look down on me because I love it. I saw one the other day when I was walking past the television. It was like a MILF NATO, number one. And they broke out a slip and slide.
Oh, hell yeah.
And
No
the tops,
way.
then they covered the slip and slide in lube, and the tops came off and the bottoms came off, and then they put them back on, and then they came off again. So it's not all bad. And they're all just hammered, waiting for their husband, Lamar Odom, to come home, or whoever they're married to. I don't know.
Right.
I know Cops was, I think, on before, but was Survivor the big when they first started calling them reality
I think
shows?
so. That was the big one.
That's what kicked off all these.
And I do religiously watch Survivor.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
back, isn't it?
You've watched from day one, haven't you?
Yeah.
See, that's way dumber to me. A bunch of naked people running through the woods. That's way dumber than a bunch of drunk people getting in a fight.
Yeah, it is. I guess I consider it a guilty pleasure, but I absolutely love it.
Some
And
guy,
how many times have you tried out for it?
7 or 8.
Has it really been 7 or 8?
Awesome.
What the hell is wrong with you?
A lot of things, man.
Sign up for that wife show. Sign up for the wives show. That's what I want.
Have you signed up for any other ones or tried to get
No,
in?
just Survivor.
Never The Voice or anything?
I can barely
Wife swap.
talk, let alone sing.
My girlfriend did American Idol way back in the day, but she was 14. They wouldn't take her.
What a dork.
So she tried. How did she get? Oh, they wouldn't take her. Okay, you just said that. I was going to ask if she went through the audition process.
Yeah, they said that she was too young, so they didn't want her traveling across the country and
Your
stuff like that.
landlord can't sing.
No, she's actually a very, very good singer.
No, she's
Oh, that's
not.
cool. I would
I
have never
bet
guessed,
she is.
Waffle.
Oh, very good singer.
Oh, Jesus
Very
Christ.
good sing. Like, is this because you're dating her type of thing? Because a friend of mine is a very, very good musician, but I always have to preface it by saying, I know everybody says this about their friends, but I promise you, he's legitimately an incredible musician. All right, so is this just a little bit of rose-colored goggles?
No, not at all.
Go, Josh.
great
Punch him in the balls.
All
now.
right, you know what, Waffle?
Punch him in the
I'm
balls.
going to have to punch you right in the balls.
Your friggin' landlord couldn't carry a tune in a bucket.
So if she's so good, Wapple, prove it by imitating her right now.
Oh, boy, that's going to be terrible.
Why would it be terrible if she's so good? Imitate her, I'm saying. I mean, if she's so good and you recreate it, it should be really good.
I hope we have karaoke in Wisconsin next weekend.
Oh, that would be
We'll
fun.
sign Wapple's landlord up to sing. I'm going to throw trash at her because she sucks.
She's very good. You're going to be shocked.
Oh, cool. I'd love to hear her sing.
So how do you know this? Does she sing karaoke or in the shower? Or
Yeah,
Does she sing you lullabies?
Singing karaoke, singing around the house. Her mom used to be a bartender, so she would go to the bar when her mom was working and do karaoke when she was pretty young, like 8.
Oh, that's cute.
Average at best.
Another person pointing out a good point via text here. We're not supposed to look down on them for liking reality shows, as they literally publish a list of shows we shouldn't like.
That's a very good point.
There you go. All right, let's get her going. It's a hell of a deal. It's Wednesday. You're a terrific crowd, and we'll be back here before you can say Jack Robinson on the Half-Ass Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
We're all juggling life, a career, and trying to build a little bit of wealth. The Brown Ambition podcast with host Mandy and Tiffany the Budgetnista can help.
If I do even consider lending, I always ask myself, will this solve the problem? So I know you don't have your money for mortgage because you don't have a job. So what happens next month? Oh, I don't know. I'm going to have to think about that next month. Now, it's another thing if you're like, hey, Tiffany, I have $1,000 left to pay my car and then I'm car note free and I'll be able to pay you back, the 3 months I used to pay my car note. That solves the problem.
Brown Ambition.
Wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
All right, I got the stupid news here in front of me, and I'm going to give it all I got. I can promise you that. Ow!
What was
Great
that sound
shot.
at the end?
Ooh, ow.
Right to the baby maker. I peed a little bit, I think.
Oh.
You've taken 3 shots to the nuts today for your twins, the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah,
to be specific.
Exactly. If you missed our opening break, I mentioned that I want to show solidarity with the Twins and how they felt yesterday after their game against Houston. So I've asked Josh to punch me smooth in the testicles every 20 minutes for the next 3 hours.
He got me once, too.
Well, that was Nick asked me to do it. He was upset with it.
I'm going to give her all I got. I can promise you here in the stupid. Did anyone bother with the Winnie the Pooh horror movie that came out a while back?
Yeah, I did, and it was awesome.
Oh, awesome?
Yes, it was
really?
great.
Awesome, like in a bad way? You enjoyed it?
No. Yeah, it was like all right, it was a terrible movie, but it was because it was terrible, it was awesome.
Yeah,
if that makes
helps.
sense. Yeah.
Like a Sharknado.
Yeah, it's definitely that vibe. And you're not really supposed to like Winnie the Pooh and his friends because, they're not the friendliest people
They're killing
anymore.
people?
Yeah, but at the end, I still loved them, and I still feel like they were in the wrong. They were wronged by Christopher.
Wronged. The movie is called Winnie the Pooh, Blood Plus Honey. Apparently, it's a real deal, gory, bloody movie with a homicidal Winnie the Pooh running buck wild and killing folks, along with his pals Piglet and maybe I think I heard Eeyore in there. Summers.
No, there's no.
They
They tell
what?
you in the beginning of the movie, so I'm not really spoiling it for anybody because it's like first things first. He dies. They like killed him.
Who
and
dies?
Ate him. Eeyore.
And they ate him?
Yeah.
Poor
It's like, yeah. Then they got
Who kills and eats Eeyore?
the Winnie the Pooh and all his buddies.
Oh, here's the deal. The Winnie the Pooh horror movie was accidentally shown to 4th graders at an elementary school in Miami, Florida.
Oh, bother.
And according to the story, it effed some kids up. The school had to call in the counselors. Little kids are rocking back and forth in chairs, crying and trembling and staring out the windows ever since.
People are texting in saying that that movie is horrible and stupid.
I saw it in theaters.
You did see it in theater. I remember that. I've never been more proud of you.
Oh, man, what a waste of money, huh? According to people texting in.
Here's the gist of the movie, in case you never heard of it or you understandably forgot. In Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, the once lovable bear turns feral after his best friend Christopher Robin leaves for college. Enraged by Robin's abandonment, Pooh and Piglet develop a seething hatred for humanity and go on a killing spree, during which they slay a group of female university students.
Hello.
Who have the misfortune of renting a cabin in the 100-acre woods. A parent of a set of twins from this 4th grade class that saw some of the movie said the two of them are, quote, traumatized.
I can understand. Like, even the opening, the opening scenes, they, get right to it.
Word is the kids selected the movie, but the teacher should have double-checked to make sure it was appropriate for children. Yeah, I remember how our teachers would completely tune out once they fired up a movie for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
They'd kick their feet up on the desk. Yeah.
We could have watched hardcore porn back in the day if we wanted to. A lot of our teachers would just hit play and then leave the room for an hour. They'd go get a drink, maybe burn one real quick.
Yeah, that was the time for the teachers just to kind of do whatever they wanted.
When the teachers were hungover, too, I learned in middle school and high school.
That's when they want to put on a film?
Yeah, you kind of sense it.
Says here, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey contains graphic kill scenes in which Pooh and Piglet smash a victim's head with a sledgehammer. They decapitate a person. They feed a lady into a wood chipper. They stab somebody or another. They rip somebody's face off. They slice somebody's neck, snap an arm. Somebody gets whooped. Ooh, a set of cans pop loose from a gal's tank top.
Yellow.
Oh, I don't remember the boobs.
And I'm not kidding. The final little piece of violence from the Winnie the Pooh horror movie, the eyes fell out at one point or another.
Much less severe, but I do remember on the last day before Christmas break in 2nd grade, they brought the entire school into the gym. They had mats down for us to watch a movie. We're all excited. They put on Old Yeller. We're like, this dog is amazing. I love this movie.
No, they didn't.
The last day before Christmas break, and then they kill the dog at the end. You know, obviously not spoiling anything. The dog dies at the end.
Never saw it.
We were all just horrified.
That's like playing Marley and Me. You don't do that. Oh,
it's like we're all just so pumped for Christmas break. Santa's coming, yay! And then they shoot the dog with a shotgun at the end.
Oh, that's awful.
Did you ever think that maybe they showed you this because you all were a bunch of pricks?
Yeah,
maybe we had it coming.
Why did you have a terrible Christmas? Yeah. You rich suburban kids.
I mean, I can guarantee you that when I was in 2nd grade, the teachers were thinking, let's get these sons of bitches out of here, and let's get them out of here with a bad taste in their mouth.
This story, you know, these kids watching this horror movie reminds me, just on Monday, Nick, your godson, less importantly, my son.
Yes.
He came home from school, you know, with all this bravado going, yeah, Dad, we should watch The Purge. You know, some of my classmates were talking about it. And
Tough guy.
I said, you know what? Absolutely. You'd love The Purge. And then I said, let's just watch a trailer so you get an idea of what it's about. He changed his mind pretty quickly.
That's awesome.
Cute.
Wanting to be all like, yeah, I ain't scared of jack squat.
Nah, he's starting to get that way. You know, it's funny. You can tell, like, the louder they talk about it, the more scared they are.
Well, here's the deal. As soon as the teacher realized that the Winnie the Pooh horror movie was being shown, she turned it off. Sounds like most folks are over it already, but you know how some parents are. Some of them will be bitching about this until the day that they die, but a few kids got a little shaken up, which is funny.
Teacher obviously didn't pay too close attention to the title.
No.
Just saw the Winnie the Pooh thing and went for it.
Now, I've never bothered with the Pokemon Go bit, the video game, but I've heard it's like a lot of video games where folks get hooked on it like effing meth rocks. Even a couple of cops couldn't help themselves. Back in 20+17, a couple of cops from the Los Angeles Police Department ignored a robbery so they could play Pokemon Go. There's video footage of these two clowns. The footage just recently became a big deal with the social media dorks, so that's why it's a topic of conversation here 6 years later. The story is the cops were parked across the street from a place that got robbed. And another cop who saw them radioed for backup. But these two original cops, they pretended they didn't hear that and drove off to go find something called a Snorlax. A camera in their squad car caught them talking about it, talking about a Snorlax that popped up nearby. The camera also caught them speeding through a residential neighborhood and driving the wrong way down a one-way street. For Pokemon. One of them had been a cop for 7 years. The other was a 17-year veteran. They both got fired. But they appealed their firing. They originally tried to claim they didn't hear their radio because of loud music playing in the neighborhood, but they lost that appeal after footage from their car showed that they were lying. F me, what a damned embarrassment.
No kidding. Those people will be fine. We got a Snorlax to bring to justice.
What a
never got into it, but I mean, I know some adults who were, I mean, they'd take time off of work.
It was crazy for a while.
Have you ever seen those bumper stickers? Will break for Snorlax or whatever.
Yeah,
Pokemon
I've seen those.
Mm-hmm.
Caution hunting Pokemon, that kind of thing.
I gotcha.
You'd be walking around the neighborhood, you see like a huge group of adults all staring at their phones in like one big circle because there was, a Snorlax or a, Charizard, whatever Pokemon around it. Everybody's trying to get it. It was insane.
Now, this here next story is silly. I'll try to make it quick. The overall deal is one woman keeps banging her boyfriend's brains loose at their apartment with the windows open.
Don't do that.
Cheeks clapping, loud cries of passion like you hear from Josh in his old lady's bedroom.
That's right.
The sounds of whips cracking, hard slaps across the mouth.
Oh, hell yeah.
This effing lady won't stop banging her stupid boyfriend all loud as hell with the windows open. And her neighbor lady is tired of hearing these idiots orgasm all over each other and saying filthy things. She just wants them to shut the effing window, show a little consideration for your damn neighbors. And these two gals have been squabbling back and forth about this. The lady who's been getting folded up and down put this on social media. And I think we all know why. She's one of those idiots who believes she's the only sexually active person on earth.
Yep.
The rest of us couldn't get a piece of ass if our very lives depended. So there you go.
Yeah, that is annoying when someone's like that, isn't it?
I cannot stand that.
Okay. Or when they just become a fan of something people have been a fan of in 20, 30 years, for a long time, like a particular team. And they're going to teach teach some of these folks about it that have been owning a Twins jersey for the last 30 years.
They assume the rest of us are just so dumb, there's no possible way we could have already been involved in something like this or already actually, had some sex now and again. Yeah, pretty much everyone has it. At any rate, this is kind of funny. Apparently at one point or another, when this couple was bumping uglies with the window open, the neighbor lady directly shouted to them, "Hey, I can hear you clapping," she said. "Can you close your window?" I like that. I can hear you clapping.
That's some powerful pumping, if you can hear that through the window.
Right.
Most definitely.
That's a lot of torque. The lady who's getting folded, I don't know. I mean, how can she not think that you'd need to show some consideration? Enough consideration just to close the window. Who do you think you are? She mentions in the story that it's too hot in her apartment. Well, then buy a fan, you selfish idiot. How can you argue this? Your neighbors shouldn't happen to listen to that garbage.
I wonder how, if I heard that once or twice, I would think that's pretty cool, right? But I wonder how old this gets if this is happening over and over and over.
That's exactly the case, I think, Josh. Any of us could handle it once or twice here and there. I would get a kick out of it.
Yeah, you get a laugh.
I'd laugh my ass off.
Mm-hmm. But I wonder if she's putting on a show knowing some of her neighbors are listening to this.
I'm getting that vibe.
I would absolutely think that's the case. Again, because she thinks she's teaching us, how you do it.
I'm having some intercourse right now! Copulation time!
I mean, I remember feeling really bad many, many years ago. I was young. I left the windows open in my townhome once when me and this gal just tore each other to pieces. And we enjoyed being very vocal and very loud in general. That was our style. Insults even. It was fun. So I didn't know my neighbors were right outside my window having a little barbecue, kids and such.
Oh.
And me and this gal cut loose. And you call that a vagina? I would say. And she would say, my vagina's better looking than your busted ass teeth. That's the kind of thing we would do. We would have this kind of insult. We would we'd chop each other across the chest and then go, woo! I remember I really made her mad, Josh. I once looked down at her and I said, psh, I remember my first time delivering oral. You know what I mean?
Ask me about CrossFit, Jesus said. If he hears a neighbor having sex through an open window, he knows what to do. He's just going to start tugging it and being absolutely Nick loud when it comes to ejaculating. I'm masturbating to your loud sex. Although, for whatever reason, I get the feeling that maybe he would be the one that got in trouble if the cops were called.
Yeah, you're probably right. Mm-hmm. But anyway, me and this gal did everything as loud as possible. And then after we wrapped her up, I realized my windows were open. I didn't want to go outside for the rest of the day because my neighbors absolutely heard every little last disgusting thing we were doing. I don't know how you can just be so... Well, it's hot in my room. It's all about me. Shut up. Go get a house in the middle of the woods and raise all the hell you want. If you're living in an apartment or in a townhome community kind of a thing, have a little consideration.
I've only heard it a couple times, and it was in a townhome community.
Reminds me of the dorms at St. Cloud. We basically had cardboard for walls in between each room, and it was just evident anytime anything was happening.
Gross.
And including the one guy who had a big speaker system for his computer. And this was actually really funny. Anytime he was watching porn, he would crank that. So everybody on the floor knew he was watching porn at that time.
Was he into some weird stuff that you could tell?
It seemed pretty vanilla, pretty normal stuff. Nothing too crazy, but it was just funny. Like, oh, yeah, he's at it again, isn't he?
The greatest thing I ever heard through thin walls when it comes to, hearing another couple getting it smooth on was back in the St. Cloud State days. I'm not going to say who, but one of my buddies was getting some action in the next room. And you could hear the bed, ba-boom, 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 and they're talking back and forth. And I heard the gal say, the guy said, you want to try the blankety-blank position? I don't remember which one it was. And the young lady said, well, no, that's not the position that will give me an orgasm. And the dude said, who said anything about you having an orgasm?
What would you do there, Ashley?
I'd leave. I'd leave.
You take the money and go?
Yeah.
They kept it cooking, Ashley. She looked past that, and they just kept her going.
But you didn't mean not to, Jesus, has texted in on the topic of Pokemon, and we were joking around about a Snorlax. And he said, you clearly don't know how rare the Snorlax is. Caught one in 8 years. One.
Oh, I didn't know that was a big deal.
I didn't realize it was that rare.
I knew all about it. I knew all about the Snorlax.
Oh, yeah, of course you did. Yeah.
Kind of an expert on
When people ask me about Snorlax, I'm like, hey, you can ask me, but ask my friend Nick. He's the master at it. He knows.
There's no doubt
out of curiosity, Nick, Pokemon Go, what do you play that on?
Oh, I play it on computer.
Yeah.
Yep.
You definitely are the guy. You're the guy to talk about.
Desktop
in
computer.
my grandmother's basement.
Yep.
And
just driving around town with your laptop.
No. It's a desktop.
I play it on a home computer.
Super long Ethernet cord.
Or Josh, if I remember right, when I play Pokemon Go, I turn on the television to channel 3.
Yep, that's the first thing you want to do.
I hit the power button.
Hook up that coax cable.
Hey, don't cab companies like Uber and such, they have a vomit charge where if you yak in the back of one of their vehicles, they charge you extra?
I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I heard.
Seen it happen.
You've seen someone vomit in the back of a damn, how do you call it, Uber, and then they charge you extra?
This was more of the taxi days before Uber in college, and we had to then have the taxi driver bring us to an ATM because he demanded money from us because one of my friends had a little too much fun that night.
Yeah, I've been in a vomit-covered cab once or twice, and it wasn't me.
Yuck.
It wasn't me.
Somebody you were with, though?
Yeah, Wang.
No, it's always Wang.
Wang always finds a way to vomit. Doesn't matter where you go, doesn't matter what time of night. If you're drinking with Wang, he is going to spew. I've seen him vomit in every phone booth, a hayride, you name it. You name it. Wang has sprayed his dinner on. I hate hanging out with Wang.
If you're going to spew into this.
What's that from?
Wayne's World. When Garth pulls up that tiny little Dixie cup.
That was actually a good Garth impression.
If you want to meet Wang and ask him about his vomiting exploits, you'll see us at the Little River Band concert at Medina Entertainment Center. I think that's November 11th.
Just don't share a cab with the guy.
No, don't get in a car with Wang after it's over. All right, here's the deal. There's a restaurant or two now in San Francisco that's going to go ahead with this same gimmick. A vomit fee will be tagged on a customer's bill if they splash. Apparently, they're having problems with folks erping all over the place when they have their bottomless mimosa happy hour deal.
Anyone a mimosa fan here?
I love mimosas.
Yeah, I'll drink them.
That's the champagne and orange juice?
Yep.
They'll charge you an extra $50 if you burk. They're posting signs at these joints that say, drink responsibly and know your limits. And the sign says, a $50 cleaning fee will be automatically added to your tab. A $50 cleaning fee will be automatically added to the tab of any patron who sprays chunks in a public area of the restaurant. A Canadian restaurant went ahead with this same spiel back in 20+19, and they say they haven't had a single case of a grown person cacking up a meal since. So it's worked. Says here, folks, at Uber, oh my damn. At Uber, they'll try to drag an extra $150 out of you if you're a junior varsity drinker like Wang and can't keep from spewing in one of their motor vehicles.
Jeez.
Yeah, somebody else texted in and said they were charged $200 when they horked in an Uber.
Yeah, $200 was the amount that the cab driver made us give when my buddy threw up his dinner in our cab.
I'm sure they do it charge you so much because the driver's supposed to stop for the day then. Because you can't have your car smell.
That's true. I didn't even think of that aspect. I was just thinking like cleaning fee, but yeah.
That $150 that pays for the Febreze and the 409 and the rags that they need. I remember once me and Wang were in a cab in Chicago. I think it was 8 o'clock at night. Maybe we'd had 3 or 4 beers each, and we got in a taxi cab. The guy was going to take us down to the Navy Pier, the historic. We were in town for a wedding. I said, Wang, let's go check out the Navy. And we just got in the cab. It's like a 5-minute cab ride. And the cab driver says, so, are you boys from out of town? And I said, yeah, we're from Minneapolis. We're in town for... And the cabbie said, what was that? And I said, Jesus Christ. And Wang had splashed vomit all over the back of and the cab said, go back to Minnesota, you idiots.
He's pretty pissed off.
You friggin' rookies, don't ever come back.
Gave him the Roman shower right there at Navy Pier.
I said, Wang, it's 8 o'clock. What are you? He's wiping. I don't know what happened. Find me and Wang at that Little River Band show. But don't get too close to the sumbitch.
Just enjoy the scene from afar.
I mean, is it an incredible amount of alcohol that he can drink, or he just gets drunk that easy?
Yeah, it's just 2-3 beers and he's already iffy. F you, Wang, if you're listening to the program. You know, I just hung out with Wang not that long ago. He didn't puke. All right, we got to close this down. It's fun when monkeys do human things. Monkey smoking a cigarette's the ultimate for me. Monkey on a bicycle. That's good. Here's a situation where a monkey went ahead and did some very human things. Just not terribly cute human things like, putting on some roller skates or slapping a gal's behind or whatever. In this case, a monkey blew through a few Steve Weisers and then broke into some houses. Momo the monkey is what they call them.
Those are tough.
He had cops in a town called Indianapolis chasing his ass for a smooth 24 hours, Momo the monkey. He busted loose from his owner's house, and he decided to raise some hell. He chugged some beer. He broke into a vacant house. He tagged the place. Momo, it says. Spray paint, he wrote Momo. Was here. 2023. Why do guys have nipples? Is what Momo. I don't have any details on this this next part of the story, but it sounds like Momo might have slapped a few people around too. I like that.
Yes.
Hey, look, a monkey, crack. Momo is what they call a patus monkey, Josh. I think I'm saying that correctly. Patus. They say, and you just lost $5, Josh. They say that the patus monkey is the fastest primate around. Those little peckerheads can run.
To catch.
Yeah. They can run 34 miles per hour.
Whoa.
One lady in the neighborhood came face to face with Momo while he was out on his 24-hour bender. She just pulled into her driveway, and the sumbitch jumped up onto the hood of her car. And she thought it was cute. Oh, look. And then the cops pulled into her driveway and said, get back in the car. They said, he's dangerous. Don't be messing around with Momo. He's had a few. Another neighbor spotted Momo drinking a beer that he pulled out of a garbage can. Cops eventually caught Momo.
I wonder how he got a taste for beer.
I don't know. Maybe my dad used to run with him or something like that. I don't know. Maybe he was an over-the-road truck driver like my dad. And they met for a few, got some lot lizards together or something. Momo now, he's fine. He's over at the animal care center in town. And they're trying to decide whether or not Momo will be returned to his owner, because his owner can't seem to keep a handle on this sumbitch. He's broken out the house before. Back in July, he popped out a window and ran through the neighborhood for a while.
Did you guys take a look at Momo?
No, I didn't see Momo.
He's different looking.
Is he?
Yeah, I'd stay away from him. He's drinking his monkey style light or whatever it's called. Stone
yeah.
light.
He doesn't look nice. Doesn't look nice at all.
Monkey Stone.
That's what he was drinking.
Word is anyone who had direct contact with Momo during his time out acting like a high school kid should contact the local health department because of a concern about, quote, monkey diseases that can be transmitted to humans. Oh, no. I don't want to catch anything from a monkey. I don't want to catch whatever it makes their asses so bright red.
Why are they so bright red?
That is weird. That
they
is
always
weird.
look agitated.
Oh, it looks like someone just ran a power sander up their ass crack. It's like Wang after a night in Chicago. So there you go.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Speaking of October, how about my Rangers?
Now they're
I'm on that bandwagon. You bet I am.
I'll give you $100 if you can name 4 players for the Rangers.
You know, there was a time when I didn't have to work with you in October. I don't know. I don't know what happened to those days.
Those are long gone. You're stuck. Bye, Rangers. 3rd down and 1.
Dude, that was funny.
That was great.
That is awesome. I love that he called him out on that.
Me too.
Joe friggin' Buck shut down Troy Aikman for being a fake-ass Texas Rangers fan.
My Rangers.
Name 4 players on the friggin' roster. Aikman's thinking, F you, pal. I think it was a tweet about that situation where Joe Buck called out Troy Aikman for being a bandwagon fan, and somebody tweeted, Joe Buck with the pipe bomb.
It's a good one.
There you go. That was during that Monday Night Football the other night. We'll get to the Texas Rangers here in just a minute, but the Twins got double pumped at home yesterday in Game 3 of their divisional series with the Houston Astros. Pumped early in the ball game and pumped late in the ball game. That's double pumped, Cubby.
Yeah, it didn't look good.
It's probably best to just try and forget about this one because you got to come out all guns blazing tonight in a do-or-die type of a setup. One more win for the Houston Astros, and they're off to the American League Championship Series for the 7th time in the last 7 years.
That's insane.
Barf. Tough times in Houston.
Yesterday, I hadn't started the game yet, but I talked to Nick after the first inning, and you had mentioned, well, it's not looking good so far.
No, we're one inning in. I didn't mean to spoil anything for you, Cubby.
Oh, no, that was fine.
Yeah, you called right after the first inning, and instead of saying hello, I said, well, that sucked eggs. And you said, I haven't even started watching yet. The Twins need to force a fifth game in this series, which will be played Friday. So, Game 4 is tonight. 6 o'clock on FS1. It was originally scheduled for 1 o'clock, but since the Rangers did what the Rangers did, now it's going to be a 6 o'clocker. Over there at Target Field, Joe Ryan might have to pitch the game of his life. He starts tonight. The Texas Rangers, Troy Aikman's favorite baseball team, they had little trouble, very little trouble with the Baltimore Orioles in their American League Divisional Series. Texas won last night 7-1. They swept a very good ball club. So they're in the American League Championship Series for the first time in quite a poke, 11 or 12 years, if my memory serves me correctly. It's all over and done with. Today, before the Twins get going, 4 o'clock, Game 3 with the Braves and Phillies. 8 o'clock tonight, Dodgers, how do you call that club? The Dodgers and the Diamondbacks in Arizona. The Diamondbacks are up 2-0. We'll talk this over with Randy Shaver at 7:30. Josh's News is coming up.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
Millions of listeners and thousands of 5-star reviews rave about the hit podcast series In the Red Clay, the unbelievable story of Billy Sunday Burt, the most dangerous man in Georgia history.
He was a whiskey man, bank robber, hitman. He was a murderer. He's also my father.
Seasons 1 and 2 are available to binge right now, and bonus episodes are coming soon. Imperative Entertainment presents In the Red Clay. Get the podcast wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Came speeding past us at like 900 miles an hour.
I've been in high-speed chases as a police officer, and that's one of the most dangerous things you can do.
This probably not the best way to make a first impression with a prospective employer. A 23-year-old Florida man was arrested Friday when he allegedly stole a car at a gas station after his job interview to work there was canceled.
Oh, no.
Jacob Thompson was supposed to have an interview at 4:30 p.m. at the Pilot gas station. A clerk took his application but told Thompson no one was available to complete the interview, so he'd have to come back Monday. Meanwhile, a man from West Palm Beach who was traveling to a weekend getaway stopped to get some snacks. With his interview on pause, Thompson allegedly decided to take advantage of a different and illegal opportunity. When the victim returned to his car, he saw a man, later identified as Thompson, inside. Thompson drove away, almost hitting the victim as he tried to make his escape. Deputies responded to the scene and learned the vehicle was equipped with OnStar, who gave them the vehicle's location. They located the vehicle and tried to conduct a traffic stop, but Thompson sped away at speeds of up to 100 miles per hour. OnStar advised that it was going to shut the engine down, and not long after, Thompson lost control of the vehicle, hit a guardrail, and flipped over before attempting to run on foot into the woods.
They got guns! They got guns! Oh my God! Jesus, look! Oh my God, they're chasing him! They're chasing him through the woods!
She's very excitable. Yeah. She does not handle stress well.
No.
Cops caught him quickly after that. We don't think he's going to make that interview on Monday, deputies said in a post on social media. Thompson, who was actually identified from his job application, faces a slew of charges.
Thompson sounds like one of those characters where if you don't keep them busy, you got to keep them busy. Because if you don't, they'll find some kind of trouble to get into.
Idle hands, right? Yeah, you got to keep them doing something.
Idle hands.
Several fast food workers in Indiana are accused of stealing money from customers to help bail inmates out of jail. Haven't heard of this one before.
Mm-hmm.
Officials said they noticed some inmates had suspicious irregularities in their funds, and they were able to bond out of jail almost immediately. Investigators then uncovered a fraudulent scheme which traced back to at least 10 Hardee's employees. Officers said in August and September, the employees photographed credit and debit cards of drive-through customers. The money was then used to bail out jail inmates in addition to the inmates having extra funds. Deputies said they uncovered a total of $14,700 in fraudulent charges. They're working to have that money returned to customers.
These are a group of shady folks working over at Hardee's?
Yeah, they got at least 10 of them.
Ah, for Christ's sake.
It's a big crew. That's a tight crew. I like the camaraderie between those employees. St. Paul police are investigating a robbery which happened late Friday night involving dozens of alleged thieves. A spokesperson for the St. Paul Police Department said officers were called just after 10:30 p.m. for a report of a bizarre robbery. Officials say the robbery victim said they were approached by 30 people. At least 6 of them had guns, they said.
What the hell?
The suspects forcibly took the victim's wallet and phone before leaving. Police stopped multiple people in the area after the incident, but as of press time, no one was identified as a suspect.
That's a gang of crooks that believes in the whole more the merrier scenario.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
30 of them at once coming
30.
at you?
That's a lot.
What kind of getaway car do they have, for Christ's sake? A school bus?
It's a clown car.
An elderly neighbor in Washington State's accused of opening fire on his neighbor last week because he was mad about too much noise. Then, 76-year-old Wayne Maher Sr. called the victim an a-hole who deserved it. The victim, since identified as 67-year-old Vincent Reams, was shot last Wednesday outside his home. A 911 caller identified Maher as the gunman and said the defendant matter-of-factly admitted he shot Reams after the victim made too much noise. She noticed the victim lying face down on the ground in front of his residence and asked Maher if he'd shot the victim, and he replied, "Yeah." He allegedly agreed to be interviewed by deputies, and when he did so, he said Reams was an a-hole who deserved to be dead. Local media reported the suspect complained about noise in November and told responding authorities he wished he could just kill Reams.
Boy, oh boy.
Nearly 1 year later, he did. He also made threats to kill the victim the day before the shooting. Police say the suspect had a blood alcohol content of 0.189 several hours after that shooting.
I don't know if I like this dude.
No remorse whatsoever.
No.
24 first responders helped rescue a cemetery worker who became trapped in a grave yesterday afternoon.
Heck no.
The incident happened at the Holy Cross Cemetery in New Jersey about 1 p.m. after a funeral service had just wrapped up. That's when the 47-year-old worker fell through a wood board about 6 feet down into an open grave just deep enough to bury a Wapple family dog.
First responders arrived. Crews had to set up what they call a trench panel inside the hole to stabilize the ground and then use a system of ropes to lift the worker out. All of this literally took about an hour to finally lift him up and get him into the ambulance. We're hearing that he may have suffered a dislocated shoulder.
Oh. Officials said that injured shoulder left the man unable to get out on his own, but his predicament had the potential to be far more tragic.
An expert out here on the scene also tells us that the crypt lid inside that hole was in there, and had that fallen on him, his injuries could have been much worse.
The man was rescued shortly after 2 p.m. and was taken to a hospital for treatment.
That's terrifying.
You know what you know what you just did, Josh? You just told a tale from the crypt.
I did take a
Yeah.
tale from the crypt, like legitimately.
You did.
A Michigan man caught masturbating in public allegedly had meth and a cucumber. The 45-year-old was one of 3 men seen masturbating in the town within a week. As we talked about earlier this week, police are investigating whether this was part of a social media challenge or perhaps another trend. It's unclear what he was doing with the cucumber. I don't know if he's pickling it backside or just had it for comparison.
That's kind of what I was guessing.
That's pretty gross.
Disturbing footage shows a hulking man wandering naked through a JCPenney, with parents chasing him down and attacking him while accusing him of trying to touch kids. The footage starts with at least 2 men chasing the man through the department store as a shocked-sounding woman appears to be on the phone to police. He's like fully naked, she says to the man running from the children's department, and he's only wearing socks. The person recording the video then asked where the cops are as a group of men chased the naked man. With the group of concerned men gaining on him, the nudist grabbed a pair of pants and seems to be attempting to put them on. Pants in hand, the naked man gets into a physical altercation with the group trying to detain him. 2 of the men appear to grab hold of the nudist and beat the bejesus out of him. A Seattle area reporter confirmed the video was filmed at that store's location on October 1st, and that the man allegedly did try and touch kids.
Oh, gross.
Luckily, those parents were there to step in.
Somehow, like the fact that he's wearing socks is weirder than if he was like completely naked.
Yeah, if he just had a shirt on, that's my sex outfit.
I was gonna say, Ashley, be careful. You're about ready to describe how Josh gets completely naked.
Yeah.
He gets down to the socks and the T-shirt. That, in his mind, is completely naked.
Disturbing footage shows a man in a dress swinging a hammer while strolling through Seattle in a rampage in which he allegedly bashed two strangers. Things are weird in Seattle.
He's wearing a dress?
Yeah.
Oh.
Police released the surveillance footage while still hunting the hammer fiend over the unprovoked attack on a 60-year-old man and a 63-year-old woman. It shows the suspect wearing what appears to be a long, classy black dress, pulled away to show his chest, along with sandals and a fur winter hat. As he walks, he stopped to pull out a pink-handled hammer from his bag, brazenly holding it up as he walked through the Emerald City. One clip shows the suspect, thought to be about 6 foot tall and in his 30s, talking to the hammer and then using it to point in different directions. The victims were treated for head injuries at the scene.
Oof. Pink-handled hammer.
That's right.
I see where he's going with that.
Like a scene out of Footloose, a Louisiana high school principal who rescinded an honor student scholarship recommendation and kicked her out of the Student Government Association over a twerking video has reversed course and requested a leave of absence now following an uproar over the discipline.
If she wouldn't have had the support from the community, this really would have ruined her entire senior year.
Last week, Walker High School principal Jason St. Pierre pulled the girl into a one-on-one meeting in which he accused the public school student of not following God's ideals. This happened after a video of her dancing with a friend at an off-campus event was shared on social media. The 17-year-old was seen dancing behind a friend who was reportedly twerking at a private homecoming after-party. The DJ who worked the event and filmed and posted the video described the teens dancing as harmless and genuinely kids having fun, as did parents who were at the party. They described it the same way. The teens' classmates quickly rallied behind her, even selling T-shirts with slogans like, "Let the girl dance." Following the groundswell of support, St. Pierre announced he would reinstate the girl to her position in the Student Government Association and reinstate his endorsements of her for the scholarship programs. The student's mother, however, said the reversal and apology took far too long.
He mentioned reinstating the scholarship. I let him know that the scholarship deadline was done and the damage that he's done to her is done. What I want for this to never happen to another student again.
St. Pierre put in an application with the local school district for a leave of absence for the remainder of the school year after throngs of fellow students came to the support of the student and called for his resignation.
That's so messed up. Just ruining her future.
Some sad news after a Canadian teen died when he stood through a moving vehicle sunroof and was struck by a concrete beam while the sedan passed under a ramp. The deadly crash happened at the West Edmonton Mall Thursday, September 28th, around 1:45 p.m. Police responded to the mall's north parking garage, where it was reported an 18-year-old male passenger stood through the sunroof of the sedan as it was passing underneath a ramp, and the passenger struck a concrete beam. A 17-year-old male driver and a 15-year-old female passenger didn't report any injuries. Speed and impairment were not believed to be factors in that collision.
Dude.
In another tragic accident, this time here in the States, a skydiver was killed when he made a hard landing in the lawn of a Florida family. 69-year-old Frederick Morello was involved in a solo parachuting incident Saturday. Police officers and the fire department responded to the home when Morello was found wearing a parachute attire and gear and lying on the lawn.
I was asking the person that was laying on the ground, "Hey, man, can you hear me? Can you hear me? You okay, man?" But he did not answer.
The home surveillance footage captured the dangerous moments before the man's death. The video showed a skydiver descending at fast speed with a parachute before the hard landing.
Look at the video. What happened? Why did he fall so hard if all the safety mechanism was in place? Something tell me there's a problem there.
Police said the investigation is ongoing.
Can you imagine Cubby coming home one afternoon and there's a dead guy wearing a parachute in your front lawn?
No.
I would not be prepared for
What
that.
the hell happened here?
Yeah. In other senior citizen skydiving news, Dorothy Hoffner, the 104-year-old Chicago woman who set the record for the oldest tandem skydive, died in her sleep. Just days after the monumental jump. Offner made worldwide news just over a week ago, October 1st, when she became the oldest living person to jump out of a plane. The record is still being confirmed by Guinness, but Dorothy toppled the previous record held by a 103-year-old Swedish woman who jumped last year.
So she got one last thrill a few days before she punched out.
Sad that she passed away. Sounds like she passed peacefully in her sleep, racing to the ground. I mean, no, just in her sleep. And she got to do that before she passed. The series finale of Archer airs tonight on FXX, and later Sean Penn joins Jimmy Kimmel. Mike Conley Jr. of the Minnesota Timberwolves, 36 today.
Oh, I'm hoping for big things for Mike Jr. this year, Cubby. You know I am.
I know you are. Sean Patrick Flannery, Connor McManus, and Boondock Saints, 58. I think you'd like that movie, Nick.
Never saw it.
I know. I think you'd enjoy it.
You would.
3-time Super Bowl champion, retired quarterback Steve Young, 62 today.
Steve Young.
Conspiracy Theory Jesus said happy 40th birthday to his beautiful wife, Ram Tucky Sheezus. She's at the hospital right now welcoming their just-born first grandchild, Charlotte.
What the hell is going on over there?
The newest member of the sisterhood. Always running into things, Sheezus sending a happy birthday text to I'll try anything 4 times, Jesus. Happy birthday to Laura from BTO and Jay Lee. And this text says, happy 37th to my husband, Josh, my love, my liege, my lord. That's from his wife, Hubba Hubba. Listen to that. And that's 93X News.
Care 11's Randy Shaver.
This guy is beautiful.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
There are 2 down here in the 9th. Nothing in 2 on Julian.
Swing and a miss. Julian strikes out, and that is the ball game. The Houston Astros take a 2-1 lead in the American League Division Series with a 9-1 victory in Minnesota.
I am feeling a little defeated, but still optimistic about tomorrow.
Minnesota fan, you know, it's a roller coaster. It's up and down. Twins, Vikings. We got tomorrow.
Let's go!
We got tomorrow.
It's great to have them in this playoff situation.
They're playing great.
They are playing great.
A message to fans who maybe felt defeated today. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
We had plenty of opportunity. We really did. Overall, it was a difficult day to hit. The game times that we have right now and our ballpark make it very difficult to see the ball and to put a lot of good swings on the ball in a row.
You got to play like it's the last game of your life, and you got to want it more than them.
He's the type of pitcher that he's very deceptive.
He was getting us to chase. He was landing it early in counts and throwing it where he wanted too late.
The shadows make it tough a little bit too, but he had really good stuff today. And obviously you have a plan and approach as a team, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Hey, Randy Shaver.
Yes, sir.
All right, then. Good morning.
Good morning.
Is Brad Ryder there, too?
I am.
I heard him there.
How you feeling, son?
I'm fine. My voice was still a little hoarse. I had a little throat cold over the weekend, but I'm getting better.
A little throat cold, he says. Yeah, we heard you were battling something or another. All right. It's good to hear. I don't like those damn throat colds.
Yeah, you'd been making fun of me the whole conversation Monday, but you normally do anyway, so I guess
that's true. Nobody would have noticed the difference.
What, did your voice, right. Did your voice, was it all cracking like a sixth
it was.
grader?
I mean, you can kind of tell a little bit now, but it was a lot worse Monday.
Yeah? Sounded like...
Then I had to give 3 lectures on top of it, which didn't help.
Oh, man. You're a tough sumbitch. Well, here's the deal. The Twins got to win today or else.
Yep. Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to use the shadows as a reason why you can't hit the ball. I heard them. I know it's tough to see the ball at that time of day.
Yeah, the Astros were really struggling.
Yeah, right. That was
my response. The Astros didn't seem to have a problem with it.
They got DP'd at home yesterday.
You know, the thing is, AJ brought up AJ Przinsky brought up a really good point during the game, too, and he acknowledged, too, the shadows are an issue. He said, but they take BP at this time every day for a 7 o'clock game, so they should be used to it a little bit.
Yeah.
Man, they got pumped in Game 3 of that divisional series with the Houston Astros, right from the get-go.
Yeah, Sonny Gray just did not have it yesterday.
Well, they were on him. They were on Sonny. Yeah, gave up a couple of dongs. Sonny never gives up dongs.
That Abreu home run in the first inning just took the air completely out of the place. I mean, it just already down 4-0 before the Twins even come to the plate. That was a tough one.
And you heard Rocco there in Cubby's audio. They had chances to get back into this ball game despite being down right from the word go, but they couldn't get that clutch hit or two that you need to win these big ball games.
Yeah, the two biggest half innings to me were the bottom of the first and the bottom of the third. They had They had second and third bottom of the first with Lewis and Correa up and didn't get a run in, and then the bottom of the third they got the first two guys on base, and then the next three guys get out. So.
Well, you got to give Javier credit. He pitched a really strong 5 innings.
No, it was the shadows.
He
dude.
had him swinging at stuff that maybe normally they wouldn't be swinging at. But
Twins left 9 runners on base and went 1 for 9 with runners in, how do the folks say it, scoring position. And I'll tell you what, they might want to try and slow down that Alvarez dude in one way or another.
No way have they had a chance to even do that. Good Lord. That guy's a monster.
What do? Do you just start walking him or what?
Throw him a couple pitches out of the strike zone, perhaps?
Yeah, it depends on the situation, but he's dialed in.
I know the Astros have a loaded lineup. They do. And I can't right now off the top of my head think who follows Alvarez in the lineup.
Tucker.
Maybe is it Tucker? Yeah, then Abreu?
Yes.
I mean, it's unbelievable. When that team gets cooking, those are a lot of talented hitters. So I don't know what you do.
What Houston's doing to Lewis is basically what I just said. They're not throwing him strikes. They're making him chase a lot of pitches out of the strike zone. And yesterday, one of Lewis's strikeouts, they didn't throw him a strike. He chased everything. And so that's what you got to do to guys like that. You hope that they think that they can hit anything you throw up there. And if you throw them something a little out of the strike zone, maybe you can get them to chase a little bit.
Here's a listener saying, what a great idea to build a glass building in the left field, the target field, that the sun reflects off of. So now we've got a listener claiming that there was a reflection coming on. You know that big building they're putting together?
You can see the construction workers up there watching the game sometimes.
I love that.
They've been cool enough to send us pictures from target field.
Right,
yeah, we've had some of them listen, and they sent in photos.
This is the first time I've heard of some kind of a sun reflection problem coming off that new building. But that's according to one of our listeners. I'll tell you what, tonight Joe Ryan might, I said this earlier to the folks here in the radio studio, Joe Ryan might have to pitch the game of his effing life. He might have to.
I think that's a definite possibility tonight. This could be a bullpen game for Houston. I'm not sure how long Urquidy's going to go.
I was thinking the same thing. I think the bats got to show up tonight. I mean, they've got to score probably 6 or 7 runs to win tonight, I think.
I think you're right, Brad Ryder. I mean, and Joey Ryan has not fared well against the Astros in his big league career. He has not.
If we get to Friday, I think you can win Friday's game with 3 runs. But tonight you've got to score 6, 7 runs to win, I think.
Letter Buck. Oh, God damn it. Oh, no. I'd forgotten all about it.
It's been a while.
Right in the pills, guys.
I had to do it.
No, I know, Josh. I'm not mad at you. It's just the pain. I was just punched right in the testicles. I told everyone earlier, I made a deal with Josh. I said, in order to feel solidarity with my favorite baseball team in town, the Minnesota Twins, in order to feel what they felt.
What it's like.
In order to feel what they felt yesterday, I've asked Josh to punch me in my nuts every 20 minutes for the next 3 hours.
Great shot.
Ooh, ow.
Right to the baby maker.
And he's gotten me now 4 times, and you've done it. Surprise punches. They are supposed to be.
Yeah, you're not supposed to know when it's happening.
I don't want you to feel bad about this, Josh.
I do feel bad.
It's something you're doing for a friend.
What an exciting time for Josh.
Finally, the intimacy I've been praying for.
Game 4 is 6 o'clock.
We all want to be in your shoes, Josh.
Earlier, he had me punch Wapple. I forget why.
Wapple was going on and on about how his landlord is the next Celine Dion over there.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I just said she could sing.
I'm not buying.
Oh, I think you said more than she could sing.
Yeah,
you were
did.
praising her up and down.
Yeah, it was a little
I'm
much.
not denying she can, but you were going for it.
6 o'clock tonight on FS1 over there at Target Field.
The G-Man throwing out the first pitch.
Gary Gaetti throwing the first pitch to Dan Gladden.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Not as cool as yesterday, but still pretty cool.
I think it's cooler than yesterday.
Yeah.
With all due respect to Joe Mauer and Johan Santana.
Well, I just thought it was cool that Santana took the coat off and he was wearing Lopez's jersey.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
That was really great.
Your childhood hero wearing your jersey as you deliver the ball to him, that's cool.
Gaetti and Gladden's kids are married. That's pretty cool, too.
Yes, they are related.
Yeah, Gaetti's son is married to Gladden's daughter.
I had forgotten all about that, Brad, you stalker. You know all this stuff.
He's it back.
But, yeah, I mean, Pablo Lopez looked like he was going to friggin' cry. Like somebody just said, to have your childhood hero put your, show up with your jersey on, very touching.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Very much so.
The Twins do such a great job in these kind of things, right? I mean, they always in some way set up a ball game of importance like this with something pretty cool in the pregame.
I had one of my childhood. It's funny now that I'm thinking about it. I had the opportunity for one of my childhood heroes to wear one of my jerseys.
Oh, yeah?
Many years ago. Went to go see Kiss in concert. And one of my childhood heroes is Paul Stanley. When I was a kid, I thought Paul Stanley and Davy Jones were the two coolest dudes walking planet Earth. So, I don't know what I was thinking. I was young and had a few beers in me. I brought my hockey jersey to the Kiss concert, and my plan was to throw it to Paul Stanley, because we had very good seats, and maybe he would wear it on stage.
Yeah.
It had worked for us before. Speaking of the Twins, this all comes full circle. One night, I wore my Twins hat to, I forgot who this was now, Motley Crue. Went to go see Motley Crue, threw my Twins hat on stage, and Nikki Sixx wore it for a while, okay? I went to go see Ace Frehley in concert, former Kiss guitar player, and I threw my hats to Ace, and he wore it. So there was a pattern there, and I thought, how cool would it be if Paul Stanley, I'll throw my jersey up on stage, he puts it on for a song. That'd be a throw. I tried to throw it near him, and instead I hit him with it.
Oh, no.
And, before I threw it, I was displaying it to him. I mean, hoping he would say, motion to me like, yeah, throw it up here.
Yep.
He did notice it, that I was showing him my hockey jersey. So I threw it, hoping just for it to land near him. Instead, it hit him. And he looked at me as if he was thinking, I wish you never would have showed up tonight.
Oh, that's too bad.
I'm sorry, Nick.
And I spent the rest of the night, Cubby, with slightly hurt feelings.
I could understand.
I've got some advice for fans if they're going to show up tonight.
I bet they will.
Yeah.
The ones with tickets for sure.
when the countdown pitch clock thing, if we're going to do that, let's start the 5-4-3 when it's actually on 8.
Sure.
To throw the pitcher off.
I agree. That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
The student section loves that during college basketball games. I wonder how many people we could get dialed into that. That's a lot of counting down, Brad Ryder.
Well, they were doing it yesterday, but they were doing it right, on
sync,
cue.
on time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like helping almost
right.
then.
Yeah. Let's start it earlier.
I mean, that's a decent idea. Why not try to razz the other club a little bit?
Sounds like a damn Royal Rumble.
I tell you what, that could mess with you for real, honestly. The pitch column, they're going to have a hard time hearing that anyways. But they start chanting at him, it's going to be hard for him to stay in the moment.
That was audio from yesterday's game?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I never noticed it.
Let's start the 5 when he's on 8 and really get him going.
Wow, I never noticed a lick of that. My hearing must be going or something. How about we just chant C chord sucks? Loud as hell.
That'll work.
Well, the Texas Rangers, they treated the Baltimore Orioles like they were garbage.
Boy, no kidding.
Mm-hmm.
In that AL
Shocking.
to the DS. It was surprising.
I mean,
They won
this entire
7-1.
series.
Yeah, 7-1 last night. They swept the Orioles. And the Orioles are a very good ball club.
And the Texas Rangers are going to the championship series.
Mm-hmm.
That's a team right now that's dialed in offensively.
Yeah.
They look that way.
100%.
The Rangers are just, I mean, they've got it going right now. That middle of that lineup between Seager, Garver, Garcia, who's just hitting the cover off the ball, and Young, the third baseman, those guys are just clobbering it. And the best story is Evan Carter. This is the kid that played, I want to say he played maybe 20 games of Major League experience and makes the postseason roster. He's hitting like .430 right now in the middle of their lineup. He's like 20 years old. So, I mean,
I haven't got to look at him yet.
They've got a lot of guys that are making that everyday lineup look even better than it is. And Eovaldi yesterday was just tremendous. So
the Texas Rangers. So they're going back to the American League Championship Series for the first time since they had Josh Hamilton and that gang going when Ron Washington was the skipper and whatnot.
I love Ron Washington.
Ron Washington. Now he's a base coach for who? Is he back in Texas?
He is back somewhere.
Third base coach for somebody that's in the playoffs. I know that much. One of my favorite all-time Twins, Ron Washington. Nothing better than when he pulled his hamstring at that old-timers game.
The Braves.
The Braves, he's a third base coach. That's great. Today, before the Twins get going, 4 o'clock, Game 3 between the Braves and the Phillies. That series is tied at 1 win apiece. Do you think they're making truckloads of T-shirts in Atlanta right now, Josh, that say heart and nuts on them? It was kind of funny. I mean, it wasn't the greatest bit you've ever heard, but I thought it was kind of cute. After the Braves had that great comeback win over the Phillies the other night, and their bullpen did such a great job in that game, someone asked their closer, I think it's their closer, A.J. Minter, about the bullpen's performance and what led them to such a great performance. And he said to the media, heart and nuts.
That is a good line.
Yeah.
8 o'clock tonight, Dodgers and Diamondbacks in Arizona. The Diamondbacks can shut her down. That would be great.
That would be cool.
Amazing. Yes.
Get the Dodgers out of here. Bob Costas, I think I heard him calling the Dodgers Diamondback game a couple nights ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was. He's kind of getting crap for it.
But they said, you know what?
They're calling him boring.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired of this, of social media nerds hopping all over the announcers. They're not excited enough. What's his name? The old-timer Miracle on Ice?
Al Michaels?
Al Michaels. They ride him. He's so... Okay, Josh, you mentioned this article busting Bob Costas' balls for the way he called the final out of Game 2 between the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers when the Diamondbacks took a 2-0 series lead.
In the air to center field, Thomas almost in his tracks, tucks it away. And the Arizona Diamondbacks, who finished 16 games behind the Dodgers during the regular season, go into Milwaukee and win them both, sweeping the wild card series. Come into Dodger Stadium and come away with a 2-game lead as they go back to Arizona in this best 3 out of 5.
Oh, it sounded fine to me.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
So
sounded
good.
normal.
What do you young people want from an announcer? Should they be firing bottle rockets out of their ass? I don't get it.
They want the Gus Johnson style, where he just freaks out.
Maybe the Spanish radio call.
Lanzamiento home, batazo, peligroso, al central, para atrás, para atrás, para atrás, para atrás, para atrás. Michael Harris captura. Van a agarrar fuera de base a Bryce Harper. Tiro para primera. Se acabó el juego. Se acabó el encuentro.
Where'd he come from?
Yeah, who's that other guy that tagged in?
I don't know. He just woke up or something.
It's ridiculous. I mean, if you want, here's what would happen. Okay, let's say the network folds and says, fine, Bob Costas is too boring for you. We're going to get Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross, and then you'd complain about that, too, because they're too over the top.
Tell you what, the 3 guys who are doing the Twins series are awesome. All of them. AJ and Adam Wainwright are awesome. Whatever Fox is paying those 2 guys, it's not enough.
Really?
They are great.
I guess I haven't paid that close. I never really do. But here's the deal with Bob.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What are they doing?
I'm just going to say they do such a good job of breaking things down and giving you a pitcher perspective of what's going on, the mental part of the game. They're just really, really good, I think.
Totally agree.
Bob Costas saved somebody's life a few nights ago by dumping the Heimlich maneuver on him.
A longtime friend of mine, he started choking, coughing, and his face was turning crimson. So I just jumped up and did what I thought I should do, and luckily enough, it worked out.
Oh, pretty nonchalant.
There you go.
Yeah, well, he's saying...
Even that was boring.
Yeah. Come on, spice it up a little bit.
Give some excitement, Bob.
Save somebody's life with the old Heimlich maneuver.
Wow.
He's 71 F me running sideways years old.
He is.
Wow. Can you believe that?
That's amazing.
You know who wouldn't save Bob Costas' life if he was choking to death?
Social
Waffle
media?
knows the answer to that. Well, aside from the people on social media. Wapple, who wouldn't save Bob Costas' ass if he was choking to death?
Oh, I don't know.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Oh,
remember when those two were going to kill each other on television all those years ago?
Oh, yeah,
McMahon wanted to kill him because of what a dick Costas was being to him back in the first year of the XFL.
Yeah.
Costas was such a douchebag to Vince McMahon.
Can you guarantee me right now that there will be a year 2 for the XFL?
Can I guarantee you that? I can't guarantee you that I'm going to be breathing in and breathing out after we leave this studio.
But you're pretty sure about that one.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure about the continuation of the XFL in one form or another. We're going to have to spend some money, that we otherwise may not have to spend. We're going to have to convince the media to cover this for the event that it is, not the perception that you, as an elitist in my point of view, or others would have about it ain't low rent.
Now, don't get me wrong. Vincent Kennedy McMahon has proved himself to be quite a sleazebag since then. But in that moment, I wanted Vinnie Mac to pick up Costas and throw him through a window. How disrespectful he was being.
Here's a fun fact about Bob Costas that might get you back on his side, Nick. His favorite baseball player of all time is Kirby Puckett.
Of course, I've heard that story millions of times.
Yeah.
He gave one of his child's Kirby as a middle name.
That's correct.
Way back. I remember when that was going on, yeah. And okay. Speaking of announcers, and then I brought up Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross. I gotta get this out. One of the greatest moments between those two. They were so funny together, Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler calling the WWE back in the day. Because JR was very much the straight man and the King was the heel and also just the goofy, punchline guy. If you remember this, speaking of Vincent Kennedy McMahon, he hadn't appeared on the show in months, right? And he was playing the heel role, and so Lawler always bonded with the heel role.
Yep.
And McMahon busts onto the scene on Raw one night, and he hadn't been around for months. And he's walking the aisle, the crowd's going crazy. Maybe he had to be there. I apologize if this goes nowhere. Maybe he had to be there. But as soon as he shows up, Lawler can't stop doing this. It's Mr. McMahon! It's Mr. McMahon! It's Mr. McMahon! It's Mr. McMahon! And finally JR says, I know damn well who he is!
Those are two very good. Those are two very good King and JR impressions right there.
Oh, I appreciate that. All right, here we go again. Here's the headline from Deadspin.com. Looks like the Vikings are throwing in the towel and ready to trade Kirk Cousins.
Don't know that for sure.
Another article. With Justin Jefferson hurt, it's time for the Vikings to sell. Another article. The Vikings need to tank and rebuild. Another article. The Vikings cut Tanner Morgan from the practice squad.
That's a big headline.
Well, they're making room for a new quarterback. That's what they're doing, right? I saw so many articles yesterday, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together on this when we were talking about it yesterday.
Sure.
With Justin Jefferson hurt, he won't be coming back until, what did they say, week 10?
Yeah. That's insane.
They say, what's the point? Let's just throw in the towel on this season.
Tank for Caleb.
Yep.
Who is Caleb Williams?
He's the quarterback at USC. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I actually watched him.
He's going to be the top pick.
I watched him play a couple days ago, and he was very good. So
I saw people tweeting implosion for the Trojan.
Oh, man.
He's already, interestingly enough, he's already come out and said he's only going to play for one of 6 teams because he can make more money through NIL in college by staying for his senior year next year than he could by coming out in the NFL. But one of the 6 teams he named was the Vikings.
Oh, he wants to throw to JJ.
Right.
So I saw story after story saying, you know what, it's over. This season is over. They're 1-4. There are some websites that say the Vikings are making phone calls. They're ready to just say, you know what, F this. We will deal Captain Death Rocks so he doesn't just walk away after this upcoming season. He has that option?
Yes.
Yeah, his contract's up.
I don't know. I think it makes sense.
He's got to waive his no-trade clause.
Right.
Which I bet he would do if he had a chance to play for a winner.
Depends on the team, yeah.
But it didn't really dawn on me when dude went down with the hamstring injury that this would be the possible scenario.
Yeah, me either. I thought we'd see him next week.
I like the sounds of this, but you guys know I've wanted What's-His-Nuts to leave town pretty much from the time he got here, Cousins. So
I love him. I'm going to miss him if he leaves.
Was it because he was so quirky in that documentary?
He was good in that documentary.
I didn't watch the documentary, but I don't know. He's cute. Just a cute guy.
I also like that quarterback from North Carolina, Drake May. He's pretty good too. He's bigger. He's a bigger guy. He's almost like a Ben Roethlisberger.
I hope he's not too much like that.
Yeah, there's some things about Ben that we don't need here.
I don't know. I like this kind of stuff. I like these kinds of little stories going around.
Well, all that's great conversation, but they're a long way from securing the number one pick in the draft. So, I mean, it's all just
forget about that. Forget about that aspect. Just why not?
Well, that's the reason you would do this.
The only reason you would do it?
Sure, because if you're going to rebuild, you've got to start with the quarterback position, and if there's two great quarterbacks who you deem great quarterbacks potentially coming out for the draft, then obviously you want to put yourself in position to get one of those two.
But wait a minute, you don't just deal Cousins just for other, what's the word I'm looking for?
Sure, I mean,
there's a word I'm looking for.
Compensation?
Assets is the word I was looking for.
To get something in return,
and to get some of his money off their bank account?
But I mean, sure.
Okay.
No doubt.
So there are other reasons to deal him than just tanking.
You better deal some other people, too, to stockpile some picks because you need offensive line help. Bad.
Well, he's not the only story I read yesterday about who the Vikings might trade here before. I think it's right around Halloween's the trade deadline or something like that.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Right.
Daniil Hunter again has come up, so I don't know. I want the guy out of here. But anyway, but it's also fun to talk about. And I was really surprised how many different stories I saw on the topic.
What a difference a year makes, right?
Right.
4 teams that should pursue Captain Death Rocks after Justin Jefferson injury.
Are the Jets one of them?
The Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, no. Disagree.
The New England Patriots.
Yes.
The Washington Commodores.
No.
And yes, the New York Jets. Dude, Captain Death Rocks, the Gas Bag, and the MILF Man on the same roster.
Do you think we could get the MILF Man in return if we trade him to the Jets? I'd like the MILF Man in town.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
You know who else would want him in town?
Every MILF?
Your mother and your aunt. Who are MILFs.
The teams that are going to deal for him, if they're going to deal for him and give up their future, they've got to be in contention. And all those teams you just talked about are under 500.
Okay.
So that's why I don't know if it's possible.
But I think a team like the Jets feel like they can be a contending team. Yes, can be a contending team if they had the right player at the quarterback position or someone that can lead them. So
they say here in this one article that is in front of me right now, selling is the obvious choice for the Vikings.
Well, that does make sense.
They could net some much-needed draft capital and reinforce their roster for next season and beyond. It's fun. Lots of fun.
I tell you what, if the Twins lose today, this is going to be a lost fall.
Yeah, really. Go for football,
baseball's
Vikings.
Over. Go for football's not in good shape, and the Vikings are 1-4. This fall, you might as well just start hockey right now.
Well, the Wild and the Timberwolves start soon. We've got that to look forward to.
Well, the Wild start tomorrow, so it's perfect.
We're going to talk about that here in just a minute, the Piggies. But first, I got to try to not lose my patience here.
Oh, no.
The gas bag. Karen Rogers. He wants to have a COVID-19 vaccine debate with Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce.
Mr. Pfizer said he didn't think he would be in a vax war with me. Didn't think he'd be in a vax war with me. This ain't a war, homie. This is just conversation. But if you want to have some sort of duel debate, have me on the podcast. Come on the show. Let's have a conversation. Let's do it like in John Wick 4, right? So we both have a second.
Nice.
Right? So somebody to help us out. I'm going to take my man, RFK Jr., as an independent, and he can have, Tony Fauci or some other pharmacrat, and we can have a conversation about this.
You want to talk about the absolute last effing televised program that I would ever watch?
Yep. I'm with you there.
I would rather watch 1,000 consecutive hours of golf and Adam Sandler movies and then go to a weekend-long ska festival than watch 1 half-hour program with the gas bag and Travis Kelce debating COVID vaccines.
What a dork off.
Yeah, gosh, they just love themselves so much.
Just the subject in general is so friggin' tired. All right, this is much more pleasant to talk about. And I know it's a long time off, the last time we talked about this kind of a thing. We acknowledge it's a long time away. But decisions are being made now on the subject. Flag football will be considered for the 20+28 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. Flag football. Now, I didn't know this, but flag football got a test run at the 20+22, something called the World Games. The United States beat Italy in the final round. That's great. I don't know why that's so great to me, but it is.
It's a grudge match.
And Mexico beat the United States in the women's flag football tournament. Now, Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill wants to bring the United States a gold medal in flag football. He sent out a post on Twitter that said, calling all NFL guys, let's bring one home. Now, here's what's interesting to me. If NFL guys played, they'd win every game by 4 or 5 touchdowns. But would the NFL like these money-making players out there possibly destroying their knees for flag football?
No.
I mean, I read one story that said, and you know, the NFL just has this permanent erection about spreading the sport to the globe. We're going to have a game in Mazatlan and a game in Biafra and a game in... They love spreading the word of... But, and this would certainly do that, to have flag football in the Olympics. Even if NFL players don't play, they could have a Brian Bosworth and Garo Yepremian show up and talk about the... But would they risk that word spreading to have Patrick Mahomes go out there and have his femur shoot out of his leg for a gold medal?
Yeah, I don't know, though. I mean, the basketball players, they play in the Olympics.
You got to admit that the NFL's a completely different animal.
Yeah. I think the NFL actually might be open to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay. I think it brings them positive press. I think it. And you're talking about flag football. You're not talking about tackle. So I think it's.
Well, yeah.
I think they would be on board.
A guy's leg can come off playing flag football. Didn't they have some All-Pro here a few years ago? His leg came off at the Pro Bowl flag football game or the beach volleyball game, or what was that? I swear to God, there was some marquee player who had a leg off at some silly grab-ass NFL event. Maybe someone can text me on that.
Don't they write into some of these big contracts that certain players can't do certain things?
Yeah.
Like can't go skateboarding or...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure they could alter that if they wanted to.
I remember Brett Boone got in...
You cannot play Foursquare with Brett Boone.
He tore up his knee and got in trouble. He's playing some basketball in the offseason, and he wasn't supposed to be doing that. He tore up his knee, and I think he lost out on a lot of money because of it.
Yeah, I've heard a few stories like that before. Well, I crapped my pants playing hacky sack.
That is true. Did you lose out on any money?
No, Josh was there.
Did you have to be on IR like JJ for 4 games?
I'll tell you this much. I threw my underwear in the trash right here.
The underwear were the big losers.
Yeah. And the trash guy.
And the trash
Bad day
guy.
for the trash guy.
Yes.
Listeners are telling me maybe it was Curtis Martin or Robert Edwards that hurt themselves in some kind of wacky NFL grab-ass beach volleyball tournament or something.
Yeah, it looks like Robert Edwards.
Robert, I guess I can't picture who that
1999.
is. I remember Curtis Martin. Jeez, it seems like it wasn't that long ago.
There'll be an NFL team in Europe within 5 years.
It's going to be great.
Right now.
It's going to be great. I can't wait. Here's a text from Lake Street Handshake Jesus. Isn't the NFL basically flag football already? Yes, it is, for the most part. Good point. All right, so somebody or another said something about the hockey season. Pigs start up tomorrow night at home, and a matter of fact here, Coming up in about 25 minutes, we're going to pull Marcus Foligno on the radio with us and see what he has to say about this and that in the upcoming season. Marcus Foligno, we've never had him on the air before. And they started last night. There were regular season games last night that I completely ignored. Too soon for hockey.
Yep.
I mean, I watched the Pigs, but what was it last night? Seattle was playing Las Vegas? Too soon.
How about Chicago, though? I mean, Bedard makes his debut last night. They end up winning. He gets an assist. That's a pretty good story.
Yeah, some of you are touching yourselves over that. It'll take some time for me, like I said yesterday. And it's funny you bring up Groucho Godard. What the hell? What's his name again? Connor Bedard.
Groucho Bedard.
A listener watched this Bedard kid in the Blackhawks play last night, and he texted in a warning. Do not drink every time the announcer says, Bedard, you will die.
Oh, no.
But, of course, they're going to be all over this kid, right? Just up and down for 60 straight minutes they're going to talk about this kid.
It was pretty funny. They were blaming it on nerves, but in the warm-ups, he forgot his stick.
NHL studios getting ready for the Penguins and the Blackhawks. There's Connor Bedard getting ready for warm-ups. Wait a second.
What's going on?
I forgot something.
What did you forget?
No. Oh, the stick. Oh, I'm going to need that hockey stick.
Are they letting them go no bucket, too? I love it.
We'll have to post that video. It's funny him looking around like, what the hell? Where did my stick go?
I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Everybody else is good to go.
The veterans stole his hockey sticks, didn't they?
I bet that's what happened.
Oh, sure.
So Bro Bible and some other websites are trying to get folks pumped up about the new NHL season with all kinds of great stories. Yesterday we had the chicken that got thrown on the ice in Los Angeles back in 1988. This year-old hockey story is one that old school hockey fans like myself love. It has to do with an all-time cement head NHL goon. And as you know, the NHL wants to avoid that type of thing from here on out. It's a damn shame. And it's part of the reason why I can't get into today's hockey the way I did 20, 25, 30, 35 years ago. I hate that the goon has been pretty much erased from the game. We don't need to go on and on with that. The story here is about former NHL enforcer Ty Domi trading punches with a Marine at a bar. And I hadn't heard this one before. Now, Ty played for the Leafs for a long damn time, a good 10 years, starting in the mid-90s, so we're going back a ways here. Apparently, the Maple Leafs and a group of Marines had a problem at a bar in Chicago back in the day. And if you're too young to remember Ty Domi, he was simply one of the toughest and nastiest little pit bull-looking bastards to ever play the game. You would have to be mental to want to throw hands with him unless you were sure you could hang. But here's the story. Some members of the United States Marine Corps encountered Ty Domi and a few other guys from the Maple Leafs roster in a bar in Chicago. And one of the Leafs that was there told this story to a local paper in Toronto years ago. The Marines in question were supposedly harassing the Maple Leafs. Then Ty Domi walks in, and one of the Marines made a smart-ass comment about his height. Because Ty was not the smallest guy, or pardon me, not the tallest guy in the world. Ty Domi was, I don't know, someone could look it up. He was a little guy. So a brawl could have easily broken out right then and there. But the two sides apparently came to an agreement. And here's what they were going to do. The biggest Marine would get a chance to punch Domi smooth in the face, with his hands behind his back, just take a free shot. And if Domi was still standing after that punch, he got a shot to punch the Marine in the yapper. They made a gentleman's agreement.
Ty Domi 5'8", according to Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm. So here's what unfolded from there. According to this Leafs player who told the story to the Toronto newspaper, this biggest Marine hauls back and punches Ty in the face as hard as he can. Ty Domi, his head turns slightly. He looks back at the Marine and says, "That's not your best shot. I'll give you one more."
Oh, that's badass.
That's scary. I'd walk away.
Now, the Marines, I guess, all started to kind of talk and say, uh-oh, we picked the wrong guy. And this Maple Leaf who witnessed it said it was obvious that the Marine dude broke his hand when he punched Domi in the mush. So the Marine takes kind of a weak swing with his left hand. Domi must have dumped 50 punches on this poor guy And according to the Maple Leaf who told the story, the Marine was begging Ty Domi to stop.
No. Wow.
Dude. I love that kind of stuff. I just thought of something. Marky Foligno's dad might have been on that roster. His dad, I remember watching his dad play, Mike. And maybe we'll have to ask him if he knows that story, and maybe his dad was there. But Ty Domi was just, he racked up 333 fighting majors in his career, which is still an all-time record. He spent a grand total of 3,515 minutes in the penalty boxes. Can anyone break that out with some arithmetic to hours or days or whatever it might be?
That's a lot.
3,515 minutes. What does that equate to in a grander scheme? Only 2 players in the history of hockey ended up with a higher total of penalty minutes. Those fellas are Tiger Williams and Dale Hunter. And if you're my age, you know that those were some nasty bastards right there, too. Tiger Williams and Dale Hunter.
Spent 64 hours, over 64 hours in the penalty box.
Spent a weekend. Spent the whole weekend.
It looks like Mike and Ty Domi would have played together in 93, 94.
Okay, that was the only window of time they played together?
Yep.
Well, maybe
that would have been the only year.
Maybe we'll get lucky. And, of course, the most memorable Ty Domi event on the ice was when he was sitting in the bin for the Leafs, and the Philadelphia Flyers fans are right behind him, hanging on the glass, telling him to get effed. The whole routine. Domi squirts some water on the fans to tell them to shut up. One guy gets so hot, he takes a swing at Domi and goes falling over the glass into the penalty box.
Oh. That's not where you want to be with Ty Domi.
Domi had this guy's sweater over his head before he could say jack squat and dumped a few rights on him before the cops intervened. In my opinion, that's hockey. Fans getting knocked out in the penalty box.
Yeah, I like that. I want to see more of that.
Wild, uncontrollable violence on the ice between a couple of guys who can barely do crossovers. That's what I loved about hockey. Fights at the bar afterwards. New guys doing what, Josh?
Puking their guts out in the corner.
In the corner, he's puking his guts out. Ow!
Such a disturbing sound at the end.
Got me in the balls again. I think I might have orgasmed.
Oh, jeez. Nope, that was me. Son of a.
And I hate to close out on, sad notes, but speaking of old school hockey personalities, I'm sad to say that former NHL player and head coach Barry Melrose is stepping away from television. He's been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, saw that.
I've always enjoyed him.
Yeah, he's fun. Mm-hmm. He's fun. Well, we wish him the best. I don't exactly know what he's up against. Anybody? I know it's a brain deterioration.
I saw this on Twitter yesterday, and I followed John Buccigross from ESPN on Twitter, and some of the things that he was posting kind of led you to believe that it's not great. I don't know, just the tone of how he was posting.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, that sucks because he's a very clever guy, very funny. I love the sense of humor that he brought to the mix when covering hockey, especially when he covers the Frozen Four.
Yeah.
You can tell he and John Buccigross, by damn, do they do their homework.
Yeah.
And absolutely do they know what the hell, which farm town this kid came from, the history of all the teams. They mention guys like Brad Buteau and Doug Woog when they cover the Golden Gophers, and people like Corey, the little short guy who scored all the goals in the mid-'80s, Corey... for Christ's sake.
Millen.
Corey Millen. Yes, thank you, Randy Shaver. Anyway.
It's obvious with guys like him and Buccigross just how much they love the game. That's kind of, it's cool to see.
I hear you. And then Mary Lou Retton.
Right.
What's going on here? Mary Lou Retton, the famous gymnast from the 1984 Olympics. She has terrible pneumonia?
Yeah.
I guess
to
really,
the point
really
where
bad.
she can't breathe on her own.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Wow. She's what? She's got to be early
55.
50s?
55.
Mid-50s?
I remember that whole spiel back from the 84 Summer Olympics.
scored a perfect 10 in the all-around. One of the events.
There is a GoFundMe type of a thing. This says
she has no insurance.
Oh, damn. Whoa. Her daughter set up a spot fund account to raise cash. It's already surpassed $50,000.
It's way more than that now.
150, I think, last I saw.
170
Nice.
of a $50,000 goal. So
Well, that's
people are donating, obviously.
It's also a sad damn deal. Oh, here's a text from Fireplace Jesus on the topic of violence in the streets and at the bars before and after NHL games, the way it should be. You know, I remember when we were young, you know, we used to have the guy in town who drove the ambulance. We'd have him, make a few laps around the arena before the game, just to get the vibe going. Just run the sirens, take a few laps around the arena. Let folks know they're
Let
in for.
them know you're here.
Yeah, let them.
When you run them into the boards, let them know you're there.
Let them know you're here.
So Fireplace Jesus talking about fighting at the bar. He said that, well, I never saw this. The Eagle Street Bar next to the X used to be a great place to see fights after the game. I never saw that. All right.
I like that place, though.
That's a cool place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not there anymore.
I did once have a couple of Calgary Flames fans want to beat my ass this was before a Pigs Flames game a number of years ago. I had a bar gig there, and you guys know how miserable bar gigs are, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I had a bar gig there beforehand. Actually, it was way better than the usual setup because there's already people there.
Yeah.
They're all in a good mood. They're going off to a hockey game. I believe I had hockey tickets to give away, as opposed to some of the gigs Josh gets stuck with. They put them at Menards at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. At least back in the day, you used to do this, Josh, right?
I'd be there anyways, though.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And all there is,
paid for it.
old timers, they don't have no idea what you're doing there, and the boss thinks you're broadcasting live. So anyway,
that's the worst part.
This was way better than your average bar gig. But I made a joke on the microphone, trying to get some laughs out of the crowd. So these three Calgary Flames guys with sweaters on and everything walked in. And I made some kind of joke about being stupid or something. And I said, for example, here come these three gentlemen from Calgary. I said this on the mic. Got a cheap pop from the crowd, like Mick Foley used to get cheap pop. I got a cheap pop out of it. They were pissed off. They got right in my effing mush. You got a problem with Canada? I ended up having to rattle off some members of the 1986 Calgary Flames to get them to calm down a little bit. I'm like, oh, no, Mike Vernon, Al McInnes, Theo Fleury. No, I know Theo Fleury. So, I've never seen a brawl at that Eagle Street, but I'd welcome one, because that's hockey.
Remember going up to Grand Forks a lot in the 1980s with Gopher hockey, and every game we played up there at the old Ralph Engelstedt Arena, there would be a fight in the crowd.
Oh, it's glorious.
Most of the time it would be between Gopher hockey parents and North Dakota fans, but...
Oh, yeah, one of my buddy's wives had to punch a no-dacker right in the mush after a Gopher North Dakota game.
Yeah.
Guy wouldn't stop riding her. Jaw jacking up and down. And my buddy had his arm around his wife, and the no-dackers are walking behind, running their yaps, specifically targeting my buddy's wife, because she's not, she did a little jawing too. Good-spirited jawing during the game. Gophers win. The North Dakota folks can't handle it, so they're going after my buddy's wife. And one of the North Dakota guys said, "You're pretty tough with your old man's arm around you, aren't you?" And my buddy just slowly picked his arm up off of his wife as if to say, "You want her? You got her." She spun around and punched this guy square in the friggin' nose, and this is what the guy did. She punched me. She actually punched me.
That's badass.
I could see Ashley doing something like that.
Yeah.
That's a compliment. Thank you.
There you go.
But with some sort of serrated blade.
I'm more of a knife girl.
All right, boys, we got to pull the plug here, but we will talk to you tomorrow, Randy, and we'll talk more about the pigs and stuff. Brad, we'll talk to you Friday.
All right.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
Susie Schuster and Amy Trask present offbeat conversations and expert sports commentary as they ask, what the football?
When my family found out how long it took me to figure out why Charles Woodson named his wine Intercept, they said, there's a reason that you had trouble in school.
Not everyone knows. When they think of a bottle of Intercept, they don't know that I play football.
Well, what I've learned is a smooth defensive back can make smooth wine.
That's what it's all about.
What the Football with Susie Schuster and Amy Trask. The podcast is available Tuesdays, wherever you listen.
Half-assed Morning Show. 93X.
Foligno scores! Heavyweight bout, to say the least, that started with a pretty interesting jump move for Foligno. Drops the gloves.
Picked the wrong customer to go with.
Foligno, a takeaway. Fires! Scores! And the Wild will take down the champ.
All right, this is pretty cool. 8:32 here on the program. Pretty cool because we've never had a chance to rap with this guy before. The Pigs fire up their regular season tomorrow night at the X against the defending Eastern Conference champion Florida Panther. And here's a guy that's going to be lacing them up for the home club and trying to show Florida that the friggin' honeymoon is over. No more babes in bikinis. Welcome to the program, Wild Winger Marcus Foligno. Hey, man.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I mean, how long have you been wanting to be featured on our radio program, Marcus?
Probably about 2 weeks now when I heard I was maybe up for the job.
2 years. That's great.
I appreciate you guys having me on.
2 years is a long time. Thanks for being patient. Thanks for being patient. 2 weeks ago, he says, when I first heard of your friggin' show, is what he just said.
Well, we'll have to thank our pal Stickman for getting you on. We were very excited to hear that you were going to join us.
Yeah, man.
No, absolutely.
No doubt about it. We were pumped. It's very nice to meet you. We were talking, and you know quite a bit about this, we were talking good old-fashioned hockey violence earlier on the program.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we were talking.
I know a little bit about that.
Yeah.
We've seen.
We actually told an old Ty Domi story.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you've heard it. Yeah. Where he had a fight with a Marine at a bar in Chicago back in the 90s. Do you know that one?
I feel like those stories of the guys fighting on the ice would carry to the bar usually after the game or something like that, too. So those guys never just left it on the ice. They would do it kind of anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Some of those old school guys.
Yeah, he was definitely one of the tougher and not the biggest guy too, but that guy could throw both and eat punches too. That was probably one of the scariest things is that he'd get punched in the face and he just take him like a champ. And I think guys, his opponents would be like, "What the hell? Why is this guy falling over yet?" So
right,
he was a menace.
Do you ever have those problems when you go? You guys are on the road. You go hit a restaurant, and some guy with too many Steve Weisers in him is like, "Oh, there's Foligno. He's a guy who thinks he's a tough guy." That kind of a thing.
You know what? The only thing that we've kind of gotten close to that was probably just some heckling from fans or someone that knows who you are, and you're in their territory type thing, or they're a different city and knows you're playing tomorrow night. So, luckily, haven't come. Into fisticuffs kind of on the bar scene, but there's always been some close calls, and you just gotta hopefully walk away from it. That situation. I think now the toughest thing is that the phones are always down, right? So back then there'd be a brawl, and no one would know until the next morning. But if it happens now, 5 seconds after it happens. So that's the tough part.
That's true. You'll be all over the internet within moments.
Yeah.
Everybody punches it up on social media immediately. Yeah.
So, you're going to play your brother, Nick, with the Blackhawks a few times this year. Could you kick his ass as the older brother, or do you think he could hold his own?
No, I think I could kick his ass.
That's got to be humbling because he's older, right?
You know why? It's because he kicked my ass all my younger years. So it's just payback now, and I got a lot of built-up aggression against him. But no, you know what? He's actually pretty tough. The guy, he's one of the more underrated fighters too, and he can hold his own, but I like to think that I'm a little bigger than him, so I like to get a shot at him. We never come close. We've always come to kind of pushing match, shoving matches in front of that, things like that. But I don't know. To fight your brother, it would take some serious something bad would have to happen in the game. But me and Nick both play on that edge, so you never know. I'll never say it would ever happen.
What's the age difference between the two of you?
He's 4 years older than me.
Okay.
So I was always put in net and shot pucks at. I was always the goal. So I was always the guy just taking the heat. That's pretty much how it went.
But you guys have had a couple of pushing and shoving moments in the league, but you haven't fully dropped the mitts. I mean, would your old man, your folks, really be disappointed in the two of you? Because let's say it's a playoff scenario. I mean, that's when it's all in. You'll do anything to win. You want to kiss that cup. You know, would your folks call you later on that night and say, what the hell's the matter with the two of you?
You know what? They've seen it. They're our whole childhood of us beating each other up. So I don't think it would be that bad of a thing. But it'd be along those lines of it. You know, something playoffs in the heat of the moment, and push comes to shove. I mean, we both have fought in our friends in this game, but brothers a little bit closer than your friends. But that's just how the game is. I mean, you step on that ice and you got to do whatever it takes to win, and you play for your teammates. So if Nick gets in the way, he gets in the way, I guess.
Dude, I got to see that.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I got to see that. I mean, I have a twin brother. All we did was fight growing up. But I bet, let's say somehow, I could have made the NHL, I think, right, everybody?
Yes,
I could have
absolutely.
It's weird that you chose not to do it.
It's weird that I chose not to do it. Had my brother and I scrapped on the ice on television and everything, I think our folks would have looked at that a little bit differently. But, that's how it goes.
Marcus, did you guys have rules when you fought? So me and my brother, we had a no crotch, no face rule.
Respect.
But outside of that, I mean, you could do whatever you want. Did you guys have?
You know what? That was exactly ours. The no face. We would never. I never got punched in the face by Nick. I never punched him in the face. It was always like dead back shots in the shoulder and the knee. Like you just try to cripple the other guys for the next morning. There was never a way of taking away a nice family photo from the guy with a black eye or something like that. So those are the rules. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have two older sisters, and I mean they would be the ones that would come and interfere and pull your hair and grab your ears. So they were a little bit nastier than we were, but we kept it below the chin and then above the.
Okay.
So to speak.
Very, very mature. Very mature of you, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Just try to get the other guy to be limping to breakfast the next morning.
Yeah, exactly.
So you mentioned your brother plays on the Chicago Blackhawks. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, he's a rival now.
Okay, and they got the hot shot rookie.
Yeah, the Connor Bedard.
Connor Bedard.
They played last night.
Okay, yeah, they played last night. Someone was talking about it earlier. So being a veteran guy, the rookies or the young guys on the Wild Club. I mean, I'm guessing that even though this Connor Bedard is the hot shot and everyone says he's the next Sid Crosby, the veterans on the Blackhawks, like say your brother Marcus, still have to haze this kid a little bit. The rookies,
absolutely.
The rookies on the Wild roster, what do they face from veterans like yourself and others? Carrying the suitcases. What kind of nonsense do they put up with?
Yeah, I mean, we, hazing's a lot different than it used to be.
Well, yeah.
But we do a rookie team dinner night, and rookies have to pay. So that's not fun for their bank accounts. I'll just say that. I've been a part of it, and it's a fun night. But you got to do. Rookies kind of have to stand up and say a speech and tell a joke and things like that now, and definitely around the room. You can tell them, hey, come over here, take my skates off, type thing. You can make them do the things like that. So, we get them to, if they got to carry your bag to the airport, they really have nothing to say until their first year being a rookie's over with. So, I mean, they got nothing to kind of go back at you with. So, everyone's done it. I mean, we've all gone through it. It's just, I always say, it's just 1 year. I'm like, you want to play another, have a long career, so you can eventually do this to a rookie that comes into the league. So you'll eventually get your payback. But that's pretty much along the lines of it. We have such great young kids on our team too that love to have a good time, and are good sports with it. But yeah, it's usually they're the ones that are getting called out in certain things. They're making sure that cards are on the plane and poker. Someone's got to carry the poker chips.
Sure.
That big box of poker chips. So even if they don't even play the card game, which they don't, they still have to carry the poker chips around. So that's the stuff that they do. They got little tasks around the rink.
That's hilarious. My skates, remove them for me.
Yeah.
Breathe deeply as you do.
Oh, man.
Anything stand out when you were a rookie, Marcus? Anything that you endured?
I mean, other than just being scared every day of just not trying to want to screw anything up or be a drill buster or piss off a veteran. I mean, I remember my rookie season. It was such a blur. You're just trying to live day by day. That's how it went. You try to. I remember just sleeping a lot during the day. Naps were crucial because when you're young, you come from like a junior schedule and then you're coming into an NHL schedule. And it's just a lot more attention to detail, more games. Games are tougher, and you feel like you just kind of walking zombie through the whole season and just trying to get to the next day. But I mean, again, the rookie dinner always stands out to me. I had mine down in Tampa Bay, so it's a big steakhouse with a lot of bottles of wine. And I remember some guys looking at me and being like, "Hey, you okay with this 1962 bottle of wine?" He's like, "It doesn't matter what you put on the bill." So that's how it went. I remember that, but it was just such a fun experience from being this junior kid, and now you're playing in the best league in the world. And I mean, you're 19, 20 years old. I remember my first year, I wasn't even legal drinking age yet, so it was really awkward. This guy's invited you out to the bar, and you're like, "Can you get me in? Because I don't have an ID yet." So it's just one of those things where it comes full circle. But that rookie year is always an eye opener and a great experience.
How did that first beer ever taste on your 21st birthday? Was it delicious?
Well, I must say, I don't think I've waited until my 21st to have my first beer, but it felt great. It definitely did. It was, it was with the guys too, so it was a lot of fun. And I don't know, that's old school. I always thought getting around, especially being a young guy, you get them together, you go for a drink or something. I think that's what builds everyone together and brings them in. And I remember being a younger guy when the vets would ask you to go for a beer. It was a special moment.
Absolutely. We're talking with Marcus Foligno from the Minnesota Wild. They get the big home opener tomorrow night against Florida. We're just getting to know each other, aren't we, Marcus?
We are.
And
I love that the show's called the Half-Ass Morning Show. I feel like that's why you guys asked me to come on here.
Well, you were far down the list, but yeah.
Okay.
The Russian kid turned us down. We had to.
His phone line was busy. And people have been, we got some information on you ahead of time, what you like to do and this and that and your background. I mean, not that we didn't know a little bit about you just from watching the hockey games, but one of the personal facts about Marcus Foligno that really grabbed me, because I'm a big baseball fan. It says you love playing baseball growing up, which is great, and also an avid collector of baseball hats. So you like to collect all the hats from the current teams? Are we talking retro stuff? Just anything you can get your hands on?
Yeah, I mean, it's usually when I go to like one of the baseball parks, I'll go and grab that team's hat and I'll keep it. And I think hockey players seem to always wear baseball, flat brim hats all the time. So it's kind of the look for a hockey player. And I don't know, they're just such cool logos. And so I think I only have about 10 so far, but it's my wife's giving me a hard time because we have so many hats in our closet area. But it's just something I always collect. You go golf and you go to a clubhouse, you grab one of the courses hats. It's something I do with baseball. So, and then growing up, I grew up in we lived in the States early on in my career, following my dad's hockey career, and baseball was huge. I remember playing. We were in Hershey, Pennsylvania for about 5 years. We lived there, and that's where I really picked up baseball. And honest to God, I think, if I didn't move to Canada, I moved to Canada when I was 11 years old or 12 years old, and I was just playing Pony League. And that's when we were starting to travel and everything, and that's where I started really loving it. And then we moved to Canada that time, and then it was like everything was hockey all the time after that. But I had a blast. I loved hitting. I loved playing center field and first base, and never really took up the pitching. But I don't know, something about being outside playing the game of baseball, and it was a blast, and something I always thought, I wonder what would it be like if I stayed in the States, if I'd be more of a baseball addict than I am a hockey addict. So it's just something that you think about. But and then now supporting the Twins, it's been awesome seeing their ride in the playoffs right now, and hoping for a big win tonight.
Are you going today or tonight? I guess.
Well, we went yesterday, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
But yeah, it was.
Stay away today, then. You're bad luck.
I know. We went for game 2 against the Jays when they closed it out. So we're like, we got to go back, and then obviously it was opposite of the outcome. But it was an unbelievable atmosphere. I mean, it's just so cool to see the way the city kind of comes together, and around playoff time especially. And I don't know, playoff baseball is just so cool. Every pitch matters, and it's just the intent of every time that pitcher throws something can happen. So it's such a great game, and I love following it.
I dig it. Yeah, I dig it too. Yes, go ahead, Josh.
I was going to ask you, so Dana made a joke, about maybe you were bad luck. Are you a superstitious guy at all? I mean, we've talked to many athletes over the years who are superstitious about certain things. Like if you're on a hot streak or if things aren't going well, are there any activities that you have to do or stay away from?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like. It's tough because I do sometimes wear the same suit when we're winning. I'll just kind of keep it or keep that tie or whatever and keep it going. When it comes to things I got to do before the game, not really. Everything's kind of just on schedule about when I eat and when I nap and things like that. But that's kind of routine. If it gets messed up a little bit, I'm not too worried about it. But for the most part, when I get to the rink, I usually get there around the same time, and then it's just everything's kind of routine. I just find I'm more of a routine person than superstitious, where I gotta clap my hands 3 times before putting on my skates or something like that. So that's what I've seen with some other guys, it's pretty crazy. But guys have this thing where they don't tie their skates until the clock hits a certain thing. I can't do that. I just kind of come in at a certain time. I feel like it's a long career or long days if you kind of go that way. But some guys have some pretty crazy stuff and traditions. You can't touch their stick, or they got to put a stick in a certain area until they tape it. It's just, hey, I guess if it's working, it's working. It's good for you. But I like to keep it light and keep things just kind of moving.
If you ever have any trouble napping, morning radio people are the ones to talk to. We are the innovators of the afternoon nap.
Best snappers there are.
Because of these miserable hours. Do you have any questions for us, Marcus Foligno? Since we're just getting to know each other, do you have any questions for us?
I mean, how long you guys been doing on this radio show for?
Oh, for God's sake! You really know nothing about us, do you?
Just a little bit. Aaron Stickman's the one that gave me this, but we're going to get to know each other really well this year.
Now, it's been a long time. We've actually
February of 99.
99. Where were you in February of 99, Marcus Foligno?
I was actually I was living in Hershey, Pennsylvania. That's all I know.
Okay.
I don't know where else I was, but I don't know what I was doing, but that's awesome.
We're not elderly yet or anything, but I do remember watching your dad play, and I have to be totally honest with you. One of the things that drew me to your dad as a player when he played for Buffalo and Toronto, are the teams that I remember most specifically, one of the things that drew me to your dad was the Northland Stan Mikita model helmet that he wore on his head.
I call it the Fruit Loops Bowl.
I was drawn to that helmet as a younger person. I even wore that style of helmet when Marcus, you probably heard of this, but I scored 1,000 career beer league hockey points. But anyway, I loved that round, like he's ready to be shot out of a cannon look.
Yeah, exactly. Some other guys wore it, maybe a little bit more skilled than my dad, and it wasn't that bad. But I think just my dad said that. We always asked him, we're like, what? Did you get money for this or something like that? Did someone pay you $30 because of this helmet? And he said, honest to God, it was the most comfortable helmet he's ever worn. And he's tried other helmets because other companies were going to make him, pay him a little bit. So he's like, I put it on. And I said, I can't wear it. It just wasn't comfortable. And then he even said when he got punched in the head, it was so comfortable that sometimes he would use it as a fish shield pretty much. So it was one of those things that helped him in fights and things like that. So, Hey, I guess it was his signature look, and everyone brings it up when he talks about my dad.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Before we let you go, Marcus, would you like to give our listeners a heads up on your foundation that I was reading about here that you started a number of years ago, maybe where our listeners can find some more information on the Janice Foligno Foundation?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking about that. No, it's my foundation that honors my mother who lost her battle to breast cancer. I think it's been 13 years now going, but we started pretty much the year after she passed, and it's kind of a local thing back in Sudbury, Ontario, Northern Ontario, where we like to donate the funds and help medical back in Northern Ontario, and obviously to help with cancer research and obviously one day finding a cure. So we've done a lot of great things with fundraising and honestly the support around the National Hockey League and just even the state of hockey. The Minnesota Wild have done so much for us, and it's been unbelievable the attention we've gotten through it. And at the end of the day, it's just to honor my mom's legacy, keep her legacy going, and it's been unbelievable to see kind of the work it has done and what we've been able to provide to. Not only in Northern Ontario, we've donated local here a couple times, and it's all about just finding a cure for breast cancer and cancer in general. So
excellent,
that is awesome.
It affects a lot of people, and when we're fortunate that we have a lot of great support that will eventually find a cure.
That sounds great. Marcus Foligno, it's been cool having our first ever chat with you. We hope we have some more in the future. And, of course, we wish you all the luck in the world tomorrow night in the home opener and smooth through the whole hockey season.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. Look forward to our next half-ass morning show.
There you go. Try look us up on the internet or something so you have some idea what the hell's going on next time, will you?
Please.
I got to do my research. I'm going to start doing my research now.
Thanks, Marcus. We appreciate it a lot.
Guys.
All right, cool. Marcus Foligno here on the Half-Fast Morning Show. Oh, you bastard. One more just for...
I had to get it in.
For the sake of the... Yeah, there you go. My nuts have been punched up and down this morning. And I may never be the same again. But we had a great time talking to Marcus Foligno from the Minnesota Wild. We wish him all the luck in the world.
That was a great start.
But it's spent up the rest of our show time, so I say a couple of shout-outs, and then we'll get the hell out of this nightmare.
From the Luther Bloomington Kia text line, Beer, Brewing, and Drinking Jesus said it's his last day at his current brewery. His daughter's getting married this weekend, and he starts a new brewer position on Monday. Glad to hear things are going so well. I would do it again, Jesus. Wishes his hot and spicy Hell Bunny Jesus a very happy birthday. And happy 43rd to longtime listener.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians. Apply today at standardheating.com.